My name is King Olly, and here I am to sing. I've got amazing content, hail the Origami King. There'll be skits, countdowns, reviews, and many more. It's gonna be funny and entertaining, that's what you're here for. Well, you came to the right place, where everyone will know. This is gonna blow your mind. This is the King Olly Show! Ladies and gents, this is the moment you've waited for. Been searching in the dark, your sweat soaking through the floor. And buried in your bones, there's an ache that you can't ignore. Taking your breath, stealing your mind, and all that was real is left behind. Don't fight it, it's coming for you, running at ya. It's only this moment, don't care what comes after. Your fever dream, can't you see it getting closer? Just surrender cause you feel the feeling taking over. It's fire, it's freedom, it's flooding open. It's a preacher in the pulpit and you'll find devotion. There's something breaking at the brink of every wall it's holding. I'll let you know, so tell me, do you wanna go?
Your Majesty, you're looking at the wrong camera!
Huh? Where are you?
You're camera 3!
I can barely hear you!
Heh, you tell it!
So what does that mean? Then what are you pointing at me for? Do you have a headache? Anywho, hello audience, and welcome to the brand new episode of the King Olly Show. If you didn't know what happened just now, we made a reference from a SpongeBob SquarePants special movie called SpongeBob's Truth or Square. TamatoaGaming really enjoyed that special during his childhood. If you didn't watch that special, I recommend you guys to watch it. But anyways, this is going to be another exciting episode because two guests will be joining me throughout this whole event we're about to go over. And of course, this is going to be similar to episode 2 with Olivia, but this time, oh, it's obvious some of you know who is going to be in this episode if you heard who will be in it. Anyways, without further ado, I welcome you to my two guests, starting with the first one. Give it up for Super Mario!
Hello, it's me, Mario. I hope you're all excited to see what we're going to be doing today.
Me too, but before we get into that, we need to welcome our second guest who will be in this episode. Give it up for King Bowser! I said, give it up for King Bowser! What? What do you mean Bowser is unavailable? I've been planning out this idea for weeks, and you're telling me unbelievable stuff?
Ships, drop the anchor!
Seriously, how are we supposed to get to the point without a second guest?
Did someone page the King of Awesome?
Ah, finally! Bowser has finally shown up! Anyways, audience, give it up for King Bowser!
It's sick and rocky to be featured in this episode. It's packing me strength. And don't even get me started how I came here at the late timer event. Want a specific reason? Fine! I didn't come here on time because I had to deal with Larry going through with this. You chumps were damn lucky you were never in my castle. Larry was nuts that I had to order Ludwig to stop him. Ludwig even punished Larry for good.
Outside of that, we are very honored to be invited here in episode 4. So what is the main topic we're going to be talking about?
Oh, right! Ladies and gentlemen, audience, it's time for us to get to the main topic. In today's episode, we're going to be talking about Mario boss battles. Do you love boss battles? Are boss battles your favorite part of Mario games? Share your opinions if boss battles are your favorite part.
I need to say this. Boss battles are actually my favorite part of the games. TamatoaGaming agrees with me that boss battles are his favorite part of the game, no matter the difficulty. You gotta toughen up and fight those giant challengers and become like me, the superior Koopa King with strength. And drink Bowser juice when you fight those bosses, will you? That way it'll make you 10 times stronger to beat your enemies who try to pick on you.
Boss battles are usually awesome. Can't decide if it's my most favorite, but boss battles are high up there, and they do fit for a combat adventure.
Boss battles are considered to be the opponents who take control of the main area's strongholds and also considered to be the strongest enemies you have to face with more than one hit. There are some where you jump on top of their heads, which is actually getting overused at times, but that's the main point to the combat in Mario games. But there are also bosses where you do tricks on them, like throwing stuff at them, ground pounding them, using the boss's own technique against them, and of course, using your power items against them.
There are fun bosses which give you nostalgic vibes, like the way they fight and how cool the character design looks.
And of course, there are bosses where you have to use your body parts to damage them real good. Like me, using my angry fist on them. How do you like them apples, schmucks?
The Mario boss battles are fun and all, although there are bosses that are just abysmal, boring, have cringeworthy witnesses, lazy, bland, and say it with me, jokes! And that is the main topic we are going over today. But before we start, since Chief Chili was the new guest in episode 3, which was the last episode, today we are going to have another new guest which will be tagging along with us during this fun event. So boys, are you ready to start the main topic?
You bet I am, King Olly. Let's go!
Let's get this over with already, because it's showtime.
Very well then. Well audience, sit back, relax, turn off your lights, get some snacks, and prepare to see what best and worst bosses from the Mario franchise we have on separate lists.
Look what is on the screen. Do you remember this nostalgic music? Yup, here we have one of your childhood games on the Nintendo DS.
You don't need to rub it in by yourself, Mario. There are 3 of us talking about the main topic.
Oh, whatever you say, Bowser.
Now people, let's play it cool even though we haven't started the explanation of this boss from the worst list. Anyways, remember in the original games Bowser's the first boss? Well, not all the time, but in some Super Mario or New Super Mario Bros. Games, Bowser was supposed to be the castle boss. In the original Super Mario Bros. Game, in order to defeat Bowser, you either have to run under or jump over him and touch the axe, which will then break the bridge and make Bowser fall into the lava.
It was supposed to be good, but it's starting to get old. That's why I'm never using an axe or any type of switch that would make the bridge collapse and have me fall down.
Oh, and Bowser was the first castle boss in New Super Mario Bros., which had the same boss background from the original game, and let me tell you, that boss was too lazy to beat. I know what you're gonna ask us. Why did we put the first Bowser fight in the worst section? Let us explain the problems with this fight.
There is one specific reason why the first castle boss from this game is a problem, and it's because they reused the concept design from the original Mario game. This is New Super Mario Bros., not Super Mario Remastered.
This is exactly why I'm ordering my minions not to use that same concept again, because everyone knows that Mario is just gonna run through me and make the bridge collapse. I mean, come on! I'm better than that! This fight is too easy!
As far as early Bowser fights go, putting an axe on the bridge allowing Mario to cut it with isn't really one of Bowser's bright ideas. So, here's his first day back in 1985. His boss arena consists of lava like you would expect, and a bridge. And just what the faker does, he randomly jumps up and down for days until that partner gets here. And here's a button, or rather axe, to remove that bridge for no reason, because the developers really love random buttons. What was that? At this rate, Bowser should have done this before the fight started immediately! Seriously, how many times do I have to tell you? This is all about profit of how Mario enters the room! Keep in mind that this is an ongoing trend in the later 2D Mario games. But at least this formula does have some pros in terms of either attacks or what happens next. But here, Bowser's attacks are slow, and you can beat him in less than 15 seconds! You wanna know one detail that we didn't cover? On the left side of the room, there's a platform where you can jump and beat the boss that way. So yeah, if you don't get my point, you can beat him 2 separate ways!
You said it! This fight was too easy and very lazy that it only takes you like 5 to 10 seconds to beat. I thought boss battles were meant to be longer. I mean, you could have at least saved this concept for the final boss of this game, which you did already. Or even maybe use that concept for the Dry Bowser fight later on. But overall, this is a lazy boss fight and Bowser doesn't work here. You could have at least used Boom Boom or the Womp King as the first castle boss, or if you're gonna have Bowser as the first castle boss, then at least make this fight longer. Maybe have Bowser try to jump on you as the player has to dodge, leaving off with Bowser breaking the brick floor till he falls down like from Super Mario Bros. 3. Before I go further even more, I had to punish Larry as he's going around throwing a temper tantrum like Junior and destroying his bleeding keyboard. Probably lost a match against Mario during practice. No wonder he has no style, and he has no grace.
This Koopa is a fucking disgrace.
Good riddance.
Although I do like the twist where we actually get to say, oh my god! What the fuck did I just watch? His skin melted off! I didn't expect that to happen! Poor Lord Bowser! Anyways, he's back again as Dry Bowser. That one is slightly better because this is the first time we see Dry Bowser on the big screen as he throws bones and spits blue flames. But other than that, it is a reskin of the first fight and it's a total misfire. How fucking lazy is that? Apparently in Nintendo's vocabulary, new means the HD version of something from 21 years ago. Obviously not, didn't even try, because the series itself is a fucking lie.
The creators of New Super Mario Bros. Wii used the same concept for that game, New Super Mario Bros. 2, and New Super Mario Bros. U, and even in Super Mario 3D Land, but at least in 3D Land, it was longer, but with the other 3 New Super Mario Bros. Games, at least they had second phases. But how come we don't get more hits from the first Bowser fight in the first New Super Mario Bros. Game? The tower bosses, the castle bosses from this game, the other 3 New Super Mario Bros. Games have bosses take 3 hits, including 3D Land and most games.
What can I say about this trend? It's tired, old, and predictable as they love rewriting the same concept again and again. It's bland and boring. The worst kind of boss. It doesn't do anything and you can't talk about it. At this rate, you might as well put the tiresome boom boom trend, and yet it doesn't make any difference. So either put Womp King or put Goomboss as the boss of World 1 Castle. Hell, put King Babom as the boss instead. Just saying.
But I mean, really, it's not fair for this boss to only take 5 seconds to beat without having fun fighting this boss.
I'm agreeing with Mario and Olly for once this time. This fight is too damn easy. It's like if you were to kill a small koala by punching it in the face with your own fist.
Next.
You want fun? Wario show you fun!
No. Don't get confused just because this song is playing in the background. We are not talking about the Wario apparition because that isn't canon. But we are still gonna play this song because this song suits for a Wario fight in any other way. Speaking of Wario, here he comes.
Wahahahaha! It's me, Wario! Anyways, that's the reason why I became Mario's rival, because flip the M upside down and you get the W. That's a clever! I even got my own micro game emporium at WarioWare and made my way to Super Smash Brothers. It's a shame that Waluigi didn't make it because of Sakurai's hatred for him. Anyways, let's get to the main event where I was the main villain of Super Mario Land 2, 6 golden coins. And to quote from the Super Mario Land 2 commercial, "Obey Wario, destroy Mario."
Oh, Wario. If it isn't my own rival, and my friend too sometimes, but at least he's not as greedy as Mr. Krabs.
But hey, Wario and Mr. Krabs have a lot in common because of money and greed.
During me and Wario's first interaction, he took over my land, so I had to stop him. But boy, he was hard to deal with, especially when he is a bodybuilder but fat at the same time.
Hey, I'm not a fat, I'm a big boned. Who do you think I am, Jabba the Hutt? And I'll have you know that I still have the muscle to beat you, Mario. We'll see.
Anyways, on to the fight. Wario has 3 stages or phases, or whatever you just like to call it. His first phase is just Wario running around the castle, and be careful when he jumps and ground pounds because there will be a vase that will fall on you. But overall, even if he runs around, he goes at a pretty fast speed and it's pretty difficult.
You have to jump on Wario's head to deal damage to him. But like Mario said there, Wario is a fast runner.
We go to the next phase and things have changed. While there is a vase trying to fall on you, Wario grabs a carrot item, which then makes Wario have the ability to fly around the castle while waiting for the moment to crush on you to the ground. After that, we go to the final phase, and this time, there is no vase. But Wario grabs a fire flower, and here is where things start to get real, as he shoots fireballs at you. Talk about rivalry with the Sonic and Shadow moments, as they both use the same abilities. After you beat Wario, he runs off of Mario's castle as the castle goes back to its normal senses. Overall, a good fight with Wario.
And of course, I became a playable character in Super Mario 64 DS, as well as some spin-offs like Mario Kart, Mario Party, and even my own games like Wario Land Shake It and Wario World. Waluigi already had one game, and it's not even canon to the series at all. Waluigi's Taco Stand. Weak. And before we can move on, there are multiple fan art of Waluigi loving Rosalina. Well, guess what? That can't happen! 𝔬𝔫-𝔭𝔫 is the only person in the galaxy to have Rosalina as his girlfriend. Ugly and beautiful do not mix. Well, Mona did have a crush on me due to my nose for treasure and money, but that's besides the point! Next entry!
castle boss was better than the first Bowser fight in New Super Mario Bros., but this doesn't change the fact that this boss is basically a weird one that has to exist. Not creepy, not disgusting, but weird. Actually, no, this fight is worse than the first Bowser fight from New Super Mario Bros. Wanna know why? Because you have to fight an oversized gooey goop that grows colorful spheres around the face. That's why it's worse than the first Bowser fight!
Gilbert the Gooey. Yes, it really is his name. This has to be one of the stupidest names I've seen for a boss ever! If you thought Roger the Potted Goat from the first Yoshi's Island game was dumb, get a load of this! If you remember Cloud and Candy from Yoshi's story, you know, the one where you actually devoured the boss to death and had no interest in attack pattern, what a joke! This, on the other hand, is even more pathetic. Even if he did have a great name, his stomach's fucking awful! And about the design, what is this I'm even looking at? This is just embarrassing! Who wants to be intimidated by design like this anyway, when I don't?
Ew! What is this a thing? It just drips from the ceiling. Gross. If you thought fighting Prince Froggy on the inside was gross and weird because you're fighting inside his stomach, yeah, so is this boss, but worse.
It did look creepy to me when I was a baby riding on a Yoshi. I still can't believe this existed. At least it was more bearable than that other time that happened.
Yeah, I was a baby around that time this existed, and still is today. I mean, who created those GUIs anyway? Also, what's with the face he's making? His face looks like he was about to give a kiss to someone while melting into liquid with his eyes closed. How strange can this boss even get? As I see the design, this looks like a rejected enemy from the anime 𝔬𝔫-𝔬𝔫. Watch it on Crunchyroll. The episodes are available to watch. It's even TamatoaGaming most favorite magical girl show of all time.
Gilbert is transformed by Kamek and is given a bunch of spheres all over his body. Gosh, this looks so stupid. To beat him, you take the spheres out in 2 separate ways. Sure, you can beat the bastard by using eggs, but it's even easier just to eat those spheres with your Yoshi tongue. Poor dude. He has a shitty nickname, he looks stupid, he's not threatening, and he's objectively one of the worst bosses ever created in a video game. This is such an eyesore! The developers tried so hard to make the first boss good, but failed miserably. But really, Gilbert is one of those first bosses that should have stayed on the drawing board. Why? That's not creative, nor interesting, it's just dull and uninspired. For one thing, he doesn't move, which means his single attack is to swing back and forth at 2 fixed heights. It's entirely possible to just stand in one place and not take any damage whatsoever. He also can't reach the corner of the screen, which means if you stand there, you're completely immune to taking damage.
After you defeat Gilbert, taking out all the balls attached to him, he turns red and completely fades away while zooming himself into the camera with the sound of an explosion. And why do GUIs fade away? I thought they were supposed to melt away. And where does that explosion noise come from? I think it was kind of unnecessary to add that sound effect.
What kind of defeat is that? I thought bosses either explode or disintegrate after you beat them. But this is just... Why exactly? That has to be one of the lamest boss defeats ever. Also, why design a boss that can be eaten by Yoshi? First Cloud and Candy and now this? Did I mention you eat him to death? Just like Cloud and Candy? Or that you can blast him to bits from a distance with eggs? Never underestimate the age-old tactic of covering yourself in sticky balls or spheres. You know what? I don't really care. Next!
My sister Olivia really loves the Mario vs. Donkey Kong games, especially the sequel to this game called March of the Minis.
Never liked Donkey Kong that much, but I must say that March of the Minis was a lot more memorable out of the three Mario vs. Donkey Kong games in my perspective.
Donkey Kong? No way related to King Kong because they are both different characters. I can beat him at arm wrestling any day.
If you thought Bowser was the first Mario villain ever, well, think again. Because before Super Mario Bros. Went into production, there was a Donkey Kong arcade game being made. It was about a big hairy ape who kidnapped a girl, and Mario had to rescue her while avoiding or jumping over obstacles.
Fun fact, everyone, the original Donkey Kong game is the first game I appeared in. And these Mario vs. Donkey Kong games were made. This does feel like a remake of one of my classic games. Although the Game Boy version was personally forgettable. Also, I understand Bowser's opinion about March of the Minis being a memorable one, but I think the original Mario vs. Donkey Kong game was better and more challenging.
Yeah, I have to agree with Mario here, because when you fight Donkey Kong in March of the Minis, all you're doing is just controlling the cannons and wheels, waiting for the moment to shoot at him. And when you get to the final boss of the game, it was fun, but it's kind of annoying. This final boss set is the set from the original Donkey Kong games, except you control the mini Marios all the way to the top so that Mario can throw the minis at Donkey Kong. I know what you're gonna ask. What's so annoying about this fight? It's just a reimagined set from the originals. It's not the set. But do you want to know what's the annoying part? When you're almost about to beat Donkey Kong, the door just sends in more mini Marios, making you confused which to use which. And your health bar runs out fast. TamatoaGaming couldn't beat this because of how annoying this was.
Donkey Kong is a villain. He's not bad or anything, except the one thing I find repetitive is him throwing those barrels. Like, seriously, DK, the throwing barrels shtick is kinda getting old.
The boss fights from Miniland Mayhem were too campy because you had to create tracks for the mini Marios to push the buttons, which will lead to Donkey Kong getting electrocuted. But at least the final boss was better, because he has control of the Ferris wheel and you have to use a cannon to shoot the mini Marios at him, just like March of the Minis.
Well, at least I can respect the opinion of yours. But what's so great with the original?
Oh, let me explain! In the original Mario vs. Donkey Kong game, you play as Mario, the hero in red, facing off against the leader of the bunch, himself, Donkey Kong. While playing as Mario, you run around the boss area grabbing some stuff to throw at Donkey Kong.
Fighting Donkey Kong a lot can be a bit repetitive despite him being the only boss in the game. However, each boss fight with him is extremely cool and is a homage to the original Donkey Kong arcade game.
Oh, and there are two final bosses. The first one with Donkey Kong on top of the construction site building as you roam for keys to free the Toads from their cage. After that's done, Donkey Kong throws a giant barrel and you really need to watch out for those, but anyways, the Toads bring you the barrel and you're supposed to throw that barrel at him until Donkey Kong falls off the building. And then we go to the first ending, which is not the end of the game. Yet! Because Donkey Kong is still at it, trying to take all of the mini Marios. After your adventure again, Donkey Kong uses his own robot to grab all of the collected mini Marios and also uses it to crush you.
Fun fact, the final battle from the game is actually a recreation of the giant Donkey Kong battle from stage 9-9 in the Game Boy version of Donkey Kong. See the similarities, anyone? I thought so.
I need to say, Donkey Kong using a robot for a final boss? That is a good concept, using a robot on top of a building for an awesome final battle, unlike Jasper Jr. using his balloon form on top of the building as a final boss mindset! I know, I mentioned it many times from previous episodes. I just can't get over that disgrace for a final boss! Anyways, after you beat Donkey Kong for the final time, you then get the real ending where Mario comforts Donkey Kong by giving him a mini Mario toy.
This was actually an adorable moment between Donkey Kong and myself.
Ah yes, Super Mario Galaxy, one of the most epic games ever made and one of the best games in Mario history. The Galaxy levels are well designed, the music is beautiful and cinematic, Lord Bowser was at his best, I even love the Comet Observatory as the hub world, and the number one reason why 𝔬𝔫-𝔭𝔫 adores this game so much is the debut of the most beautiful woman in the whole galaxy, Rosalina. And Naayle having an epic adventure to defeat Bowser as well. But let's get to the bosses. This game has amazing bosses like King Finn, Bowser Jr., Dino Piranha, Bouldergeist, and there'll be another boss in the best list later on. Ahem! We'll talk about this later.
But not every boss in this game is amazing, because there have to be some weakest links. How many, you may ask? Really, the only three I can think of the top of my head are Baron Burr, Undercurrent Gunner, and number 6 on the worst list, Top Maniac.
Ugh, out of all the bosses of Super Mario Galaxy, this fight was pathetic! You have to fight that thing in the last level of Battle Rock Galaxy, and not even the Daredevil Comet rematch was even better. It was piss poor!
This Beyblade dude looks intimidating, but in reality he's a nut. He is very easy even with the one hit point in the Daredevil run. I mean, yeah, they made Bouldergeist very hard in the Daredevil run. Why not Top Maniac?
What kind of coding did the developers give for this boss? I'm gonna put my foot down because this is the worst boss I've ever fought in my Galaxy adventures. Oh, and King Caliente's theme plays for the 3rd time in this boss. The developers used King Caliente's theme twice. Don't get me wrong, I like the song, but it sucks so much with the Top Maniac.
Also known as a great case study on how not to design an interesting boss battle. In theory, Top Maniac is meant to be a bullfight boss, an enemy which charges towards the player and has to be dodged carefully to get a hit in. In practice, he's so fucking slow and such a big target that you have to be near brain dead to actually die in the fight. So, why is he easy? Well, for one thing, he doesn't charge until his minions are dead! He also doesn't get out of the way until said minions are dead. So he's open to attack, and usually doesn't bother to fight back!
It's not my fault this enemy is slow as fuck. Even though I'm not a game developer, still, this fight can do better. I mean, this killing machine is a leader of the Top. I thought leaders are supposed to be stronger.
And considering how small the arena and how large a target Top Maniac is, it doesn't take too many spin attacks afterwards to knock him into the electric fence. Oh, you want to know how easy this thing is? You fight him in a Daredevil mission, and it makes absolutely no real difference to the difficulty of the boss battle. I repeat, if a boss is too slow and too stupid to be able to kill Mario when one hit kills them instantly, it's both poorly designed and far too easy. Yeah, this boss is nowhere enjoyable or fun because all you have to do is avoid touching Top Maniac to take damage on it. You'd have to jump on the top to push it to the electric barriers. That's literally all you have to do. You have to push 𝔕𝔬𝔫 to the electric barriers 3 times. Can you all be real? There is no challenge. This doesn't feel like a boss fight. This fight is too easy, too lazy, repetitive boss theme, small arena, lousy rounds, and therefore, this is a boss fight that needs to be fixed immediately. Oh, right, I forgot. No take-backs, because what's done cannot be undone.
Now we can move on to another amazing game in the series, Super Mario 64. The first 3D game in the Mario series, and there's even a DS remake too. And guess what? I'm in the game too! Seriously, the only reason I was with Mario and Luigi from the beginning is just so I can steal all the valuable treasures found in Peach's castle. But instead, I ended up helping them. Anyways, enough of that, let's get to the game's bosses!
And look at this. I'm in the game too. But really, this game's bosses are either okay, meh, or just plain bad. But we have some really good ones, like me for example. And one of them is Bowser. You have to fight him 3 times. But the best one by far is his third and final fight at the end of Bowser in the Sky. Take it away, my lord.
Here I am, and about time too as we talk about the Koopa King's mighty actions in this fight. Oh man, this gives me so much power. I can do whatever I want.
Let me guess, you were referring to your Dreamy form. Actually, looking back at your looks in this fight, your Dreamy form slightly could have been inspired by your final fight in Mario 64, because I do see rainbow colors changing on your skin, but nah, your Dreamy form was better in my opinion.
Mario, for this one you have a point.
I honestly thought this looks like shading, but it works for a dark atmosphere in the sky. Too bad that the remake wasn't like that.
I mean, look at my sick looks. That is the true meaning of being ultimate. During this fight, I have to burn Mario to a crisp while he runs around. Also, why do I not sound too threatening here? Like, Mario 64 is the only game where I don't act too threatening. But it doesn't matter. Mario is supposed to grab me by my tail and swim me around like he did in the previous 2 fights. But except that you had to do that 3 times. Good luck with that, Mario.
We'll see about that, Bowser.
Before we get to the fight itself, let's talk about the music. It gives the sense of hopelessness and despair that this conveys when you finally reach the final Bowser fight is just amazing! And you know what's even more epic? This has an organ! I just love final boss themes that have an organ because they fit really well, especially the sinister tone that goes with them.
Anyways, what are my attacks? Well, only fire breath and running after Mario, but with my fire breath, there's 3 different ways. 1. Blow into the ground. 2. Just a small flame blow. And 3. Oh god damn, this is gonna be such a wreck because I use my fire breath to the air, while there are also blue flames which drop to the ground and multiply themselves bouncing around. Oh, and the final phase is very difficult because I use my technique which makes parts of the platform collapse and leave it off with a huge star shape, making it harder for Mario to throw me off to one of those bombs.
Nevertheless, this fight is difficult. As far as Bowser fights in this game go, you have to throw him at 1 bomb, but now things have changed as you have to throw him at 3 bombs, which you might think is easy, but unfortunately, you are dead wrong. Because the arena is now shaped like a star. The points of the star are facing away from the bombs. Your timing has to be perfect with throwing him into the final bomb. You only have to worry about the platform getting in the way once.
After After I beat Bowser, I grabbed the last Power Star and saved my friends from the castle wall. Also, remember, we have the DS remake. Although Bowser didn't look too ultimate from his skin in the original Mario 64, Bowser in this final fight in the DS version is just his normal self, but does have the same techniques from the original N64 version. While I love the DS version more than the original, I wish the DS remake still had the colors.
What is it? Were you waiting to say something as I was talking this whole time?
Oh, no, it was your fight, so I was giving you permission to talk about your own epic fight.
Well then, I appreciate this. Anyways, move along.
Back to some Yoshi's Island topic again. Yep, I said Yoshi's Island topic again because we are here at the sequel to the game about the adventures of Yoshi and Baby Mario. This is called Yoshi's New Island.
Yoshi's New Island. Holy hell, what a downgrade. I don't really like that game, and that soundtrack is awful! Well, how do you like one sample of this game's ear-grating sound font? It's absolutely assault on the ears! And the final boss, sadly, is no exception, unfortunately. Baby Bowser's fight is just an obvious copy and paste of the final boss from the original Yoshi's Island. The first phase is just you throwing eggs at him instead of making ripples from the floor by ground pounding, and the second phase adds absolutely no tension to the battle. Where's the excitement? Where's the thrill? Because it ain't here, I can tell you that! But don't be surprised, because this next boss is even worse.
While the final boss was a repeated concept from the original Yoshi's Island final boss, at least this brings up nostalgia. That is until then.
Wait just a minute, pal. How did I even get there in the past timeline? Did someone build a time machine for me? Did I have infinity stones to teleport anywhere I want and any universe I want? Because the game said that I traveled through space and time, but how did I even do that?
To quote the angry video game nerd, what were they thinking? Here's a scene that comes barging in, doing so much shit, making no sense, and having zero purpose! This is a rather uninspired way to pad out the game!
Oh god, this was unbearable when I rode on a Yoshi. And I hated the music so much. Naayle is very lucky he never had that as one of his adventures, cause he was green like I did. And I know what you're asking, why did we put him in the worst section? King Olly will explain everything because he mentioned Future Bowser in his second episode. King Olly, mind explaining this waste of a boss?
Of course, Mario. I know you're not gonna believe me, but this boss is just a copy and paste boss fight from the original final boss from Yoshi's Island. Baby Bowser did copy and paste that boss, but at least he was passable. But with Future Bowser right here, oh, this boss is an insult to an awesome final boss from the Yoshi franchise! Let's talk about his first phase, shall we? His first phase is a lazy lava arena which always uses his lava areas to suit himself as a boss fight. How repetitive can he get?
Hey, it's not that there's anything wrong with it. Boy, the inside of my castle has areas full of lava, so don't judge me over being in lava areas for my fight.
Apologies, but this still doesn't change anything with this insult of a final boss. Also, the fight style here is the same fight style from the new Super Mario Bros. Games. Again, copy and paste from other material. And Bowser here is too simple to fight, but not as much as Bowser from the first new Super Mario Bros. Game. Also, to hit Bowser, Yoshi has to swallow a giant metal Shy Guy while spawning out a giant metal egg, and then he has to throw the egg back at Bowser for him to take damage. And the second phase gets worse! Okay, seriously? You did that before, so why do it again? This future Bowser concept fight already happened in the DS version of Yoshi's Island. So does that give you developers an excuse to do it twice? Baby Bowser is the main antagonist of the Yoshi games. Baby Bowser was supposed to be the final boss of that game. Also, don't you get tired of Bowser becoming giant in final bosses?
You know I am. Why is that? Because Bowser turning giant is not scary anymore. Because this concept has, say it with me, been done before and better.
I thought so too, because giant Bowser fights are pointless nowadays. Back to the main program. What difference does it make with Yoshi throwing giant eggs at Bowser, even though they have done this so many times? This is repetitive, so come up with new stuff! This franchise does not understand that constantly reusing ideas does not equate to good final boss design. Can't we just get one Yoshi game when the final boss does not rip off the original? Okay, aside from Yoshi's story, at least the other copies of the original fight have something that sets apart from the others. In Yoshi's Island DS, you at least had to make the eggs intersect. In Woolly World, which is an awesome game by the way, you were going around in a loop where you were aiming at the yarn powering him instead of at Baby Bowser himself. And even in the somewhat average crafted world, at least that boss has a slot machine gimmick and you hit him with giant hammers. This, on the other hand, doesn't have much to make it different.
Oh, and one more thing. Bowser's appearance is abrupt and only explained with the message, "Suddenly, warping through space and time, King Bowser appears." He just similarly time travel back in Yoshi's Island DS. But that game built up to his appearance, and he was actually contributing to the plot. This, on the other hand, he just seems to have been thrown in at the last minute, just because Nintendo ran out of ideas, and decided to throw in whatever they could to extend the game's length. Also, the message is so lazily written that it is the gaming equivalent of the Rise of Skywalker's somehow Palpatine returned. Fine. Now, let's move on to the really good stuff.
This is the end, Bowser. Nowhere left to run.
At last. You meet your end, Bowser! Finally! You got here just in time to see the creation of my dogs in the center of the universe. Watch and weep!
This is your galaxy? This looks like a giant sun.
It's not any sun I see any day, but the sun is also considered a big laser to our galaxy.
From this galaxy, I'll rule a great galactic empire with Peach by my side. Will last forever. I'll rule every pitiful corner of the universe. So, Mario, as you can see, I got big plans. And stomping you is at the top of my list!
Over my dead body, you rotten crocodile! I will save the princess and the whole galaxy from the likes of you!
At last, our final meeting. Your plan and the galaxy ends here!
Let's go!
So, Bowser, would you like to talk about your fight again in this one?
You bet I do! Only a Koopa King will share facts about their own fighting perspectives. And that Koopa King is me! Nobody else! So, I'm the final boss in Super Mario Galaxy in the final level, Fate of the Universe. That's also Dog Z and Dog 6's title for the Super Mario Galaxy finale medley right there.
I strongly recommend watching his mashup because it is epic. Hell, 𝔬𝔫𝔭𝔥 even used the first two Bowser fights to combine all the Bowser encounters in the whole game into one epic showdown of awesomeness.
You have to face me 3 times in this game, because you can't just fight me one at a time, you know. And you won't be grabbing me by the tail this time, because there is nothing you can do against me. No power-ups, no bombs, no tail grabbing, no nothing. So that means it can be stomping on you. Despite fighting me 3 times, you fought me in 5 different arenas. First one being a glacier realm planet, second being a brown cage planet, third being a blue metallic planet, fourth being a rocket planet, and the 5th and final one back to being a glacier planet. When TamatoaGaming saw the reactions to this fight, he said to himself that my fights in Mario Galaxy are my fights from Mario 64, but more epic, especially my fight theme, a masterpiece of an underrated battle song.
The music that is officially titled Nemesis King Bowser truly is spectacular. Seriously, why is the soundtrack so beautifully orchestrated? And you know what? I haven't found one that is considered bad or dull. The music fitting for the Koopa King has gotten really epic over the years. Super Mario Galaxy 1 and 2, New Super Mario Bros. Wii, Mario and Luigi Bowser's Inside Story, and so on and so forth. I hope they keep this trend up.
Oh, without you grabbing my tail using your power-ups on me, how do you do me off? Well, try standing on those blue circular glass plates, but you better not get me injured by stomping on those glass plates burning my ass off.
Oh, and don't forget that I swing hit you while you are running around the arena.
Shush you! Anyways, these next 2 fights in the final level will be quite different. First, I turn myself to a boulder rolling after you, and then I continue to roll after you even though I didn't turn myself to a boulder. Although there are these green ball plants on that planet, but all in all, Mario is still gonna swing hit me. Thank you for mentioning that technique, Captain Obvious.
But wait, there's more, because it gets better.
Oh yeah, now we're getting to the real good stuff. This is the part where I start to pack up Pete as me and Mario are inside my giant star reactor. I'm not gonna lie right now here. Fighting inside a star reactor is without a doubt one of the perfect backdrops for an awesome final battle. Whoever had this development idea, you really suit the details there. Oh, and at least this fight here is not a total joke, unlike my final fight from Mario Galaxy 2. The developers didn't even extend my fights, didn't give me any new attacks, and made my fight simple other than hard.
And don't even get me started on the final fight from Super Mario Galaxy 2 as one of Lord Bowser's weakest fights, because that one was... wait, it's not just a joke, it's... what's the best sentence? The best one to describe? Oh, screw it, I'm just gonna go with...
Disappointment in the game of life.
Exactly. At least the music was amazing. While there are some changes in the phases, the fights stay the same. The fight is a bit too easy, yes, but at least this will keep you on your toes, because this fight is epic as hell.
This fight here in the original is no joke because I'm the Koopa King, damn it! No matter how strong my opponents are, I will not be best by amateurs like them who try to use monstrosity against me. I will not rely on that. Overall, an excellent fight to suit my theme, and that battle Naayle and I had at the Central Universe while him and I sang was epic as hell, just like Super Mario Galaxy and Super Mario Galaxy in general.
The Fawful Express is next on the worst list. Well, we don't hate the Fawful Express fight with a passion. We hate it from the original. Okay, so this is probably going to be a short one. Why is that, you may ask? Well, because there is only one major issue. But even if there is only one major issue, you still can't take it! Let me explain that issue. Remember that fire breath attack Bowser does to the train? Well, in the 3DS version of it, even though that was a downgrade, like I previously mentioned in episode 2, you tap on the screen, which does sound like one of the downgrades. But in the original version, which people prefer more, you have to blow on the screen to make good damage points. That's the major issue we are talking about. And it was not pretty because you have to do it over and over, and it makes your breath go away. Here's a flashback of myself fighting the Fawful Express in the original version of Bowser's Inside Story for the first time. Yep, that wasn't pretty for me. So if you are still enjoying playing the original DS version of Bowser's Inside Story, then please beware of this fight because you will go out of breath on this.
At least it's there for the legends go! That's for fucking sure!
Sorry everyone, I did that laugh because I want you to guess what boss we are going to talk about next in the best section. I will give you 20 seconds to try and guess who it is. When the timer runs out, I will say the correct answer. So, did you guess who it is, based on the laugh I did before the countdown? Well then, if you guessed 𝔞𝔦𝔯𝔦, then you are officially correct!
I remember that cricket hack to control me and turn me into a style, back in the good old days. But that doesn't change the fact that I prefer my normal body more than my possessed forms.
Move aside, boys, because I'm taking over this particular entry, as it's my time to shine. Now, let's talk about my side of the fight, as it is the beginning of the final showdown. I praise you, pesky plumbers, for coming all this way to stop me. But I'm afraid that I will not let you go further, as I light the whole room on fire as your punishment. As for my moveset, I breathe fireballs and I can spit out flaming rocks called flowrets that can either heal me or charge as projectiles. So destroy them first, or you're toast. Breathing a massive stream of fire that torches your asses, and when I'm down to half health, I turn into my dark form way before Dark Bowser was a thing, and summon star-shaped meteors at the plumbers. Oh yeah, don't even bother jumping on me. Too bad that I'm done for. Ha! That's where you're wrong. A time bomb shows up out of nowhere, and kaboom! Your HP has dropped down to 1. I must have planned this scheme before Mario and Luigi entered the room. Anyways, how do I finish both red and green? By devouring them as a final resort. To quote Austin Powers,
Get in my belly!
And that moment where you, or 𝔬𝔤𝔦, inhaled me and my bro before Bowser's Inside Story was a thing? Oh boy, did I have a hard time in facing 𝔞𝔦𝔯𝔦 herself. Let me explain the madness me and Luigi have to go through. She uses her first attack by shooting an aura sphere at us. We had to hit it 4 times. And before we were down to 1 health due to the explosion of the bar bomb, We each had max nuts to prepare ourselves for the battle. Hey Olly, have you played Superstar Saga before? Can you explain what we had to do in this situation?
Of course, because I myself have played Superstar Saga like Naayle and 𝕮𝔬𝔫-𝔭𝔞𝔦𝔯𝔢 did. Mario and Luigi must destroy both of 𝕮𝔬𝔦 hands and head to expose her heart, which must be attacked for her to be defeated. It also sucks back inside her body after a period of time. As she attacks, 𝕮𝔬𝔦 attempts to flick Mario or Luigi with her hands, meaning Mario and Luigi must hammer her hands to attack her. She also may spin her arms around to attack Mario and Luigi upwards or downwards. She even attacks by summoning moving fire, which Mario and Luigi must jump over to dodge, or even an electrical sphere, which moves back and forward to Mario and Luigi, both needing to use their hammers to dodge the sphere. If both of 𝕮𝔬𝔦's hands and arms break off, her attacks are more limited. If her head is also, then she reforms her whole body. Her source of power is her heart, which must be defeated in order for her to be defeated. As the battle goes on, she gains 3 more attacks, one being an attack where she summons a ghostly version of Fawful. The ghostly Fawful shoots small green electrical spheres as an attack and then giggles at Mario or Luigi. It must be defeated or else it will summon more electrical green spheres. Shoots lasers from her eyes and looks up or down, indicating how she'll attack. In either way, the two must jump and automatically stay in the air until the attack ends. The other attack is from a bunch of auras which she sends off to Mario or Luigi, who must destroy them with their hammers. When you defeat her, she disappears into thin air out of Bowletta's body, meaning that she will never be seen again.
Well, looks like I'm done for. But I'm back again as an apex predator for bad media, and I devour characters who I despise. Why? Because unlikable characters are my snack, and bad media makes me hungry. Before we continue, out of all the villains Naayle has faced in his adventures, I truly am the best female villain he has ever fought, and he really knows I mean business when the great Bowletta's in town, and he admitted that. Man, that fight Naayle and I had together was epic and awesome. Now, on to the 3DS version.
I'm not done yet, because I want to explain some changes from the 3DS version. I need to say that the 3DS version of Superstar Saga was quite better and more animated than the original. And this was not even a downgrade, unlike the 3DS version of Bowser's Inside Story, but it's still good. But with 𝕮𝔬𝔦's fight in the 3DS version, her design and the background is a lot more menacing than the original. Also, her arms were changed to separate colors, blue and orange. Also, she and her arms have more HP. There is this new attack from her where, I don't know what she did there, stop time! But all of a sudden, she shot lasers from her eyes. Another new one is where she can raise her arms over the brothers and then bring them down on top of them. This attack can be countered with the hammer. When you're halfway down with a fight, she changes her colors to completely red as the color of her heart changes to green. It was phenomenal! I'm glad Superstar Saga got a remake to remaster the Alpha Dream games back then, but I do wish Bowser's Inside Story was done better, and I especially wish they'd done a remake on Partners in Time, because that game needs some notice and love instead of them rudely skipping that game when it's the second title of the Mario and Luigi series. Oh, and look at the animation details on 𝕮𝔬𝔦. Now that's what I call the true art of animation, especially her animation when she's defeated. This is actually badass. 𝕮𝔬𝔦 really had the last laugh. And I also agree with Naayle and Bowletta that their fight together was epic. Now we are going to the giant bosses. Mario, I think this is what you requested for us to do?
Yes, it is. And no, they are not from Bowser's Inside Story. They are from one of Niall's most favorite Mario games of all time, and as Niall would like to say it, one of his favorite adventures of all time, Mario and Luigi Dream Team, or as Niall puts it, Naayle Dream Team, cause why not?
Ah, well then, go on and talk about it.
Okay then, let's go. Do you like giant bosses from Dream Team? So do I. The details and the mindset were actually well developed, and especially the giant Bowser fight. That is the best out of all of the giant battles that I've faced.
So if you're talking about how good the giant battles are, then why are you saying it in the worst section? That should have been something that you would say in the best section.
Oh boy, I'm just getting started to talk about the worst giant boss I have ever faced in my adventures with Naayle and my bro Luigi. Audience, I know you're not gonna agree with me on this, but I need to say it out loud, because what I'm about to talk about is the boss that I've got frustrated with as much as I got frustrated with the imprisoned from Skyward Sword, and that fight is the Zkeeper. I will explain everything about what me, my brother, and Naayle had to go through. First off, the Zkeeper is the protector of Pillow Island and the Bird of Legend. He did help me and Naayle throughout the whole journey, but I did not enjoy the fight with him.
Say hello to what might be one of the most unfair bosses in this entire series. The Zkeeper is one of the best characters in Dream Team, don't get me wrong, but this fight sucks big time. So, Mario, care to explain why this giant battle of frustration gave you so much fury than fighting the Fawful Express?
Of course I will, as I said. First off, he goes up way too fast that Luigi and us cannot catch up with him. Hell, when he tries to charge at us, we can't see what we are going as we are having trouble trying to dodge by either jumping over him or ducking underneath him. Not only is he a fast flyer, but he is too fast at dodging his leg while you are having a hard time grabbing it while you are dragging him down.
The entire battle being very long, boring, and filler-heavy is basically the boss's turn. So if you can't counter or block one of his attacks properly, that means about half your chances of taking down his health are unavailable, and you're pretty much screwed. Oh, and while some people likely haven't noticed this, you have to counter or dodge his attacks perfectly to catch up with him, because your timing and spacing needs to be godlike. If you get hit once, then you fall behind and he moves on to his next move, and his next one after that.
What this means is that the battle can end up being very, very long indeed if you can't dodge everything perfectly. Since constantly failing means you have to go through 3 different attacks before you even get a turn. Every single time!
I get it. Boss battles are supposed to be hard when it comes to video game adventures. They're supposed to be challenging, but my god, the Zkeeper have to be this hard? Me, Luigi, and Naayle literally have been in the dream world fighting him. And it was hell. I am not joking. We got really frustrated pushing harder to beat him. Naayle died several times when we were fighting him. I had to give him like 5 1-ups while taking the Zkeeper down. Also, after you get out from the Dimensional Rift attack, which I will go over later, the Zkeeper shoots out a massive beam which tries to hit you at an insane speed limit. To avoid those attacks, you have to throw giant stumps at them 3 times. After that, when you catch up to him, he drops explosive eggs, which also goes at the same inside speed limit, making you have a harder time hitting them back. Why at an insane limit? This boss and the attacks need to slow down and give us time to do our kicks and techniques. Even though Giant Bowser has a challenging mindset and had threatening attacks on us, at least he was acceptable. But what is the Zkeeper's problem with pulling out stunts like that? Oh, and now it's time to go through his Dimensional Rift attacks, and these are worse. When the Zkeeper opened those rifts, we fly around in 0 gravity, and we had to dodge the energy balls the Zkeeper fires in front of us, and as well as the occasional spinning ram attack which he does after firing 2 to 3 waves of energy balls, which Luigi can counter after dodging him. Starting to spin like the Zkeeper once did and ramming into him, it was such a pain in the ass.
My goodness! I cannot believe how much pain you and your team had to go through. I felt the same experience as you do when facing the Z-Keeper. I actually prefer Giant Bowser over the Z-Keeper because at least Giant Bowser didn't have insane speed limits, unlike the bloody hell Z-Keeper! This also reminds me of Clem from Luigi's Mansion 3! Even though Dream Team came before Luigi's Mansion 3. And my god! 𝔬𝔫-𝔭𝔥, and I hated that fight! I felt bad for Naayle when he faced Clem on his adventures!
Do you know what really grinds my gears? Hard mode is even worse when fighting the Z-Keeper. He attacks faster, he attacks more often, and you get no chance to heal via mushrooms found in the battle itself! So, if you get hit and somehow end up with less than a third of your health, you either have to waste one of your precious 2 attacking turns or hope for some sort of divine mercy and go charging through the rest of the fight as a one-hit wonder. Add in how the hard mode battle ring gives you yet another ridiculously low turn limit, just 4 turns this time, forcing you to counter everything perfectly again. And you've got the recipe for one of the most frustrating boss battles of all time.
Oh, and if you are playing in the story in hard mode, this battle gets even harder and more annoying by how you get sent back to the title screen when you die. So not only is this a difficult battle made up of about 80% dodging enemy attacks, but it's also making you click through the title screen, file select menu, egg-breaking part of the game, and 15-minute cutscene every time you want to restart. It's enough that I nearly want to throw my 3DS out of Bowser's castle by the time I was done with this fight! Or at very least, take a mallet to the screen myself! Ugh, it angered me that much!
So fuck the Z-Keeper fight! Now, we're getting to the real, and I mean real, good stuff. Here we have one of the most memorable Mario antagonists from the Mario RPG franchise.
The Shadow Queen, being the true main antagonist of Paper Mario the Thousand-Year Door, is one of the most disturbing villains ever in a Nintendo game. And this is one of those villains you cannot underestimate.
After beating Bowser and Candy Cooper, Grotus, Grosus, escaped into a secret passage that leads us into the Shadow Queen's crypt. While not as bad as Wart, Grosus, or rather Grotus, is such a bland villain. Anyways, all hope is lost. When he turns the candles dark, the Shadow Queen emerges, and everything is shrouded into darkness. But then, things get more unnerving when the Shadow Queen possesses Peach. Some horrible tremors go off, and the Shadow Queen makes her grand entrance.
This is basically Princess Peach but possessed by the Shadow Queen herself. I was too scared to fight her because I didn't want to fight Peach. I didn't want her to get hurt because I had no other choice. I had to save the princess from that shadow spirit.
Grosus orders the Shadow Queen to kill Mario, but she doesn't listen to him because she doesn't take orders from beings that are less powerful than her. And with that, she fucking destroys him! Good riddance, you dick. You officially took your shame to your grave.
Can I just say that the Shadow Queen is the Paper Mario equivalent to Princess Shroom from the Mario and Luigi series? Because they do have some evil resemblances to Princess Peach.
I mean, that is true, but not quite the same. Anyways, since we do like the fight in general, here we have TamatoaGaming and Trains Alex Car Studios 2003 who have their exciting thoughts on this battle. So, I'm letting them explain what's really good about the Shadow Queen's fight. Go ahead, boys!
Zawardo!
someday before the curtain call, who's the one to save us all? He's a hero from centuries ago with the power that towers, and he'll never let anyone take a horrible fall. Greetings one and all fellow audience members, King Olly fans. This is 𝕮𝔬𝔫, one of 𝔬𝔫-𝔭𝔬𝔫's friends from YouTube, Georgia fan, and most importantly, Mommy Tomoe lover himself. I'm from my own channel full of shiny tears and excitement. Go subscribe to my channel when you get the chance. Anyways, let's talk about the Shadow Queen, shall we? Okay, so I have not played the 1000-Year Door because I didn't know Paper Mario games back then, but I too don't have a Nintendo GameCube. But I did see the gameplay videos of fighting the Shadow Queen, and I gotta say, audience, her looks and the fights were actually phenomenal. Although, one of my good friends from Discord, 𝕮𝔬𝔭𝔬𝔫 played the 1000-Year Door and has a lot of experience fighting the Shadow Queen. Also, funny thing, when I was thinking about Shadow Queen Peach before I met 𝕮𝔬𝔭, do note that this is a long time ago before I met him, I imagine her being a boss, enemy, or main antagonist in an imaginary RPG game of mine. I mean, the facial expressions and the emote of her laughing, that's what it takes to be the best female villain / final boss in the Paper Mario series. But anyways, let's give it up for Alex's opinions on the Shadow Queen's boss.
Why, thank you, TamatoaGaming. I am glad to be here, and I will likely share my opinions on why Shadow Queen is a good boss. So, she has a good challenge to her. She's got good skills, got good fights, got good attacks. She can do certain moves to think you could counter when she could surprise you with a different kind of attack. She shows that she's got multiple attacks, up to 2 to 4 attacks, and she could be a challenging boss to deal with. However, I think on my other side of the hand, she's got a good type of expertise to her. But as cocky as she sounds, she can give herself away, meaning she can potentially have a certain move that you're not ready for. And her first phase proves she just wants to test you. It wasn't the true battle. And she always asks Mario to join her to prove why she's a good fighter, which she thinks is the hero, because Mario did collect the crystal stars. That's true. I would say she would be better at her attacks, but if you have some certain challenges, she can be a potential challenging wall to stop. And I think that she's got that attitude of cockiness and amazement, but her first phase just proves, let me challenge your strength, and that's why I think she's a good fight. With her second phase, it's all on, no mercy from now on for Mario. Just be careful on what you do, Shadow Queen, otherwise her attacks could devastate you and take away HP to restore her. She could potentially one-shot you if you're not careful. She knows about death and power and terror, and that could prove how dangerous she is. I think certainly she is one of, if not the best, I repeat, the best final boss out there. Possibly a top 3. If you say she's a bad villain or a bad final boss, I think otherwise. You need to play the 1000-Year Door like me. I have an addiction to this game. I will not stop battling Shadow Queen and Cortez. Thank you for having me, by the way. I really appreciate battling Shadow Queen and being on this list. Thank you, everyone, and play 1000-Year Door, and you will see Shadow Queen's a good boss.
So there you have it, a full explanation of the Shadow Queen fight from 𝕮𝔬𝔭𝔬𝔫 Studios 2003. Even if I have not played the 1000-Year Door, I still recommend you guys to play that game, to those who haven't played it yet. Anyways, before I go, I got one more surprise for you. Since this is the King Ollie show and King Ollie is the Origami King, I obtained myself a special ability to use 2 different types of forms. My normal form, which is this, and, ladies and gentlemen, my origami form. Yes, whenever I rest in bed or go to small indoor places, then this is what I will turn into. My origami form. I'll explain more about this next time when you see me, but I'm gonna turn back to normal. Now if you'll excuse me, I've got some stand users to deal with along with the Stardust Crusaders. Catch you guys later!
My, we got another origami being like me, my sister Olivia and 𝔬𝔫-𝔭𝔫𝔫. Origami, rise up! Also, I must say, you and Mommy look cute together as a great couple, just like 𝔬𝔫-𝔭𝔫 with Rosalina. Sorry we went to something a bit pointless, but we had to let them explain what was good about this fight because they seem to have a huge passion about her.
The reason that this isn't number 2 or number 1 is that if you lose to the Shadow Queen at any point, even in the second phase, you have to watch the cutscene again, and it is unskippable! Whoever designed unskippable cutscenes, I'll kill you with my nose! Nah, I'm just kidding. I'm not gonna do that right now.
So there you have it. The best final boss in the Paper Mario games. Best normal boss in the Paper Mario games? We'll talk about this later.
Anyways, thank you guys for sharing your opinions on the Shadow Queen. Now then, the episode must go on! Okay, what you're about to see for number 2 on the worst list might trigger some of you because some of you cherish this fight. But this is our own opinion and we are not joking when we talk about this. So please, don't get mad at us for saying what's next on my list. But if you do, then I highly apologize. But anyways, the worst boss for number 2 on our list is Super Dementio! Please just hear us out on this one. Some people say that Super Dementio is one of the best endgame fights in the Mario franchise and in the game. They love this fight because of the design of the boss and the music, which gave an end-of-the-world vibe. As you see, the void has gotten bigger and darker. You feel like you are starting to fade away while being consumed by the dark void, never to be seen again. And his boss design was absolute nightmarish. And you know what they say, nightmare fuel, not the more the merrier, hell no! But I am not kidding. His final form had such great build-up, and since it was the end of the world there, Super Dementio's form is the last thing you will ever see before die in a terrifying, agonizing way. But saying he's one of the best final bosses in the Mario franchise? We strongly have to disagree! But at least we respect your opinions. The reason why we strongly disagree is because despite the scary design, atmosphere with these grinning platforms and amazing music, I think this fight is a disappointment. One reason. It's too easy! Rather than being way too hard, he's way too easy. Not just being too easy, but this fight is a joke. And an unfunny joke! I mean, come on! My fight was not a joke when I fought Mario back then. And my final phase was more challenging! So why couldn't you make Super Dementio more challenging as a final boss?
If there's any proof that there are examples of final bosses that have no challenge, it would be Super Dementio. This has to be the most disappointing Paper Mario final boss I have ever seen.
Mamma mia, I remember fighting him in my past adventures. And believe me, himself in his final form just sucks so much. I honestly prefer Bowser's fight from Mario Galaxy 2 over Super Dementio.
Yeah, tell me about it. His final form was completely badass. As a Gsw Budokan Magica vibes with witches and stuff. Because Nightmare feel bad, and the beginning of the fight has great build up, but all we got is an easy take on defeat for him.
Okay, maybe it's not as horrible as Bowser from Paper Mario Sticker Star, but it's pretty damn close. It's pretty damn fucking close. I mean, after beating Count Bleck, which you may think it's over, wrong! Because Dementio has been pulling the strings this whole time and steals the Chaos Heart for himself. To, you guessed it, destroy all worlds, make perfect new ones, and become the king of all worlds. And we haven't even started talking about the fight itself from a story point of view and gameplay point of view.
During the fight, the grinning platforms move around as if trying to make you have trouble jumping on them, which fails completely because of its speed limit. We wanted it to be fast in order for it to be hard, but not too hard though. Then this fight would have at least been decent enough.
It's such a shame because the music is amazing. Super Dementio's design is terrifying yet badass at the same time. And the atmosphere, despite the grinning platforms, which could have been a lot faster and more chaotic, it's the same backdrop we fought Count Bleck earlier. How cool would it have been to have the void in the background to make it more intense? Aside from that, all of this could have been an amazing concept to be the best boss in the game and one of the best bosses in all of Paper Mario. What could possibly go wrong?
Also, I forgot to mention that before you face off Super Dementio, Luigi turns back into Mr. L out of nowhere by Dementio snapping his fingers, growing out a sprout out of Luigi's hat. What does sprouts have to do with Mr. L? And then Mr. L runs into a vortex to turn into a monster? What the hell does that have to do with the final boss setup? Why was there not a fusion scene? A fusion scene would make more sense despite the fact that most of the body and the colors are from Dementio and there's Luigi's head. Oh, and the first phase was too short. Why the fuck do you have to make the first phase so short? For what? Just to not let us have fun with a final boss like him? Huh? Also, during the first phase, Super Dementio is invincible due to absorbing the pure heart and the Chaos Heart to himself. And when you try to take damage to him while he's invincible, the first phase ends already. What kind of programming is that?
Let me tell you what kind of programming that was right there. That programming was Koopa shit!
There was a cutscene with Count Bleck, Tippy, and his lackeys ganging up against Dementio, while Count Bleck finally had an ability to take away the pure hearts from Dementio as Tippy absorbed those hearts. Then we go to the second phase where Super Dementio's invincibility fades away as the pure hearts were taken out from his presence. But phase 2 was still not fun at all! I know what you're thinking. Why is this here and not Bone Chill? It is because this fight is far more insulting and disappointing! So, we hate this fight more than Bone Chill!
My god, do not get me started with Bone Chill. Bone Chill sucks so much that I wanted to lose my mind. But Super Dementio is more insulting. That's why we put him instead of Bone Chill.
Since we are in phase 2, let me tell you the attacks he can do. He sends off a bunch of flying cubes at Mario, but at least that has a quick enough speed limit. And he even does an arm attack where he tries to pound you to the ground when you get close to him on the floor. And he does this new attack where he launches himself to the air while tries to land on you, trying to do critical damage. Oh, but this phase is still short and way too easy! This boss had so much potential, but it was thrown away when we actually got to fight him. Even though he has 200 HP, which is more than the previous 2 final bosses from the previous 2 Mario games, you are more overpowered than he is. Despite his final form looking nightmarishly badass and his size, is he really that weak?
And since Super Dementio is this fucking huge, you can combo attack him anytime so easily by doing regular jumps on him, despite the size of the area he is in. But scary design, his gigantic size, and amazing music is all he's got.
It's a ridiculously easy final boss. The ending after the fight was so damn satisfying and emotional. Yes, the fight was awful for us, but you're more likely here for the end of the story Then the final gameplay. Tippy convinces Brick to find a way to stop the Chaos Heart and switch over to the good side of thinking because he found Tippy again. His literal only reason to live. And after Dementio's final ploy is further foiled between Lumiere and Timpani, that ends up disintegrating both of them while producing another set of pure hearts to defeat the prophecy, and both of the star-crossed lovers get to live in eternal happiness beyond the meaning of existence. Such an amazing wrap-up of these characters.
But overall, my fight, including Shadow Queens and Count Blex, which puts up a great challenge to the protagonist, gives so much appreciation as final bosses than Super Dementio's unfunny joke fight! But if you like this fight more than my fight, including the Shadow Queens and Count Blex, then that's alright. We respect your opinions. While this has some redeeming qualities, as explained from earlier, number 1, on the other hand, is absolutely indefensible. Who can it be? Find out a little later. Outside of that, let's move on to the second best. Get ready for some bloodthirsty action, because this next boss we are going to talk about seems to have more challenge pressure in his fight than my fight. But in a badass way! 2 gory words to describe this fight. Slaughtered blood! Here it is, audience, the dual-bladed duelist himself, aka my most favorite Legion of Stationary member I cherish the most, 𝕮𝔬𝔫, known as Scissors! The scariest boss battle ever in Origami King. 𝔬𝔫-𝔭𝔥 talked about him in his boss battle ranking video, so since Scissors is on the best list, we want to talk about Scissors again. Starting off with his brutal, blood-showing first appearance. When you first see him as Bowser Jr. tries to save his dad, Scissors rises up from the roof, charging at him. And then he brutally slices Bowser Jr. into pieces outside the entrance of Bowser's castle when he first tried to gain entry to the castle.
Now that's what I like to call fatality.
Oh, and he's also responsible for creating the cutout soldiers lurking in the castle, as they come in different shapes and sizes, which are tall and small. Oh, and he's also responsible for creating Handaconda to catch Olivia with its prey, and finally the paper mistake Buzzy Beetle as its last creation and last line of defense by cutting and slicing Bowser's minions into tiny pieces and stick them together on this thing, including Kamek.
You know he's not joking around, and seeing all of the cut body pieces of enemies lying on the floor is terrifying. Moments like these will not only make you sweat, but definitely make your heart freeze.
I've never seen so many kills in Origami King, implying that the concept of death has been around pretty much since that one theory being Mario breaking blocks that were actually toads, which comes off as murder. God, I hate game theory, and I even hate Mario is mental even more. Fuck you, Matt Pat.
It's too bad that Doctor did all that, especially when he committed mass fatality murder to my son.
But that was a long time ago, so all that's happened stays in the past.
After you defeat the paper mistake Buzzy Beetle and finish up all of Scissors' madness creations, Scissors angrily won't let you pass as he challenges you to a fight to the death. And here's where the fun begins. The battle starts off with Scissors sheathing his blades with a plastic cover, claiming that it would be too easy to cut up Mario instantly. And when Scissors removes his cover, use the Ice Elemental Magic Circle to freeze him up and deal damage to him. Oh, and the fight is so unique that even if you do damage on him, you are supposed to try not to attack his cover, hiding his blade.
Does the battle get better later on? Absolutely.
Oh, and here comes my favorite part of the fight, which is Scissors shining bright while removing his cover. when Scissors removes his cover, he uses cutting board to cut up the arrow panels, the elemental magic circles, and the on circles from the ring to make the fight more harder for you to get to the center of the arena. Oh, and like most of the Origami King bosses, you block their attacks. But with Scissors, oh boy, are you in for a bloody treat? Because Scissors is going to come at you trying to slice you in half. And instead of dodging, you have to time your jumping in order to survive the blades of Scissors. Time it right, you survive. Time it wrong, you get cut up in half while your HP goes down to 1 hit and then get a fatality.
And when your HP drops to 0, you lose!
I hope you have a 1-up mushroom during the fight just in case. He is pure evil. Because you are fighting a pair of scissors and he smells the blood from the paper characters as he cuts up paper just like a pair of scissors you see in real life. Paper is the smell of blood from scissors. Also, if you break the cover, then it is even more intense, because you can't use any powers. I remember Naayle breaking the cover and Scissors attacked him a lot. My sister was very worried. And man, I love it. Such a wonderful battle Naayle had with Scissors. And lastly, the music. The music is so well fitting because of how intense this fight is and how much intense it can get. So this is by far the best boss theme in the Origami King soundtrack with a huge passion. And is overall the best and the most epic Paper Mario boss fight of all time.
Once again, I've got a worthless object.
Because of how phenomenal, intense, and epic this fight is, why did I put him on number 2 of the best list? Well, you'll find out why when we get to number 1 of the best segment. But first, we need to deal with the worst before the best! But before we get to the number 1 worst boss from the Mario games, here are some dishonorable mentions before we begin to yell and rage on what the number 1 worst boss is. Or should Mushu put it as...
Dishonor! Dishonor on your whole family! Make a note of this. Dishonor on you! Dishonor on your cow!
Bowser from Mario Party 9. While this fight does have good music, you win by doing
absolutely nothing!
Bowser, or myself from Paper Mario Superstar. Pathetic game, and I did not even talk there in the game. Also, I want to melt that shiny Sega down into magma.
It's a stupid idea! You're a stupid man! A stupid!
The Fire Velumental from Paper Mario The Origami King. I honestly have to agree with 𝕮𝔬𝔭 and Naayle with this one, because I felt their pain over going through this. If you want an explanation of this fight, then watch 𝕮𝔬𝔭's boss battle ranking video. And even when Naayle and my sister battled it, all of those events, I felt sorry for Naayle and Olivia.
Grottis from Paper Mario The 1,000-Year Door. More like Girl Sus, no pun intended, because he was beyond mediocre to become the main villain when Shadow Queen takes her own place as the main villain.
What from Super Mario Bros. 2? How is a frog going to replace me when he is forgettable? Besides, all you do is throw vegetables at him.
Marching Mild, or Mild from Yoshi's Island. What is this? Kirby with no arms?
Big Eye from Super Mario 64. Why is this a boss battle when you're only running around the eye?
Boncho from Super Paper Mario. A worse fight than Super Dimentio, because you literally performed a glitch where you defeat Boncho easily. That's all there is to it.
Smoldergeist from Mario and Luigi Dream Team. They are literally just 4 fire spheres and their attacks are not even better.
King Katunk from Super Mario 3D World. First of all, why does this enemy have a beak? Second of all, is this thing trying to be a King Womp wannabe?
Tatanga from Super Mario Land. Nobody remembers him anyway.
And finally, Bowser from Super Mario Galaxy 2. I said this in episode 2, and I will say it again. The last phase is a joke, just like Super Dimentio, but at least the music is fantastic. But we didn't even get a chance to listen to it more during the fight!
Before we get to the real deal, first things first, a recap from the previous entries.
My first fight from New Super Mario Bros. Either give me a different backdrop or use someone else that takes more time than this.
Gilbert the Gooey, you are basically fighting a rejected enemy from a magical girl anime, Madoka Magica, or in full terms, it's Puella Magi Madoka Magica.
Top Maniac from Super Mario Galaxy, a pathetic fight which used the King Caliente's theme, which sucked at it being the third time playing this theme song.
Future Bowser, or myself that traveled to the past on Yoshi's New Island. Even though this is my fight and the music sounds interesting, this is an insult to an awesome final boss. Well, in the Yoshi games.
The Fawful Express from Mario and Luigi Bowser's Inside Story, or in case in point, the original version. This fight makes your breath go away when blowing on the screen!
The Zkeeper from Mario and Luigi Dream Team. This is so frustrating. Even the dimensional attacks was making me lose my mind.
Super Dementio from Super Paper Mario. You had a great final boss build up and let us off with an easy fight.
If you guys played Mario and Luigi Partners in Time, you know terrifying experiences, especially how fearsome it was fighting Elder Princess Rube herself as the final boss.
But it was at this moment that after all you have been through, after all those great build-ups after you beat the final boss at the building of the ending, we experience the worst part of the game as a whole. And that is the actual final boss of the game, which is what you're going to talk about for the #1 worst segment!
Oh boy, you thought things couldn't get any worse. Never mind. I'm going to scream out that boss's name because we're about to enter my second most loathed video game villain, aka my second most loathed final boss of all time, aside from Metal Robotnik, of course. Motherfucking ass Christ Schwauser!
Allosaurus had never seen such bullshit before.
Look, you pulled some really lame stunts, but this is just mortifying! Every single boss earlier from the worst list had at least one redeeming quality. Schwauser has absolutely nothing going for him! And do you want to know what was so abysmal about this fight? Well, it is the answer! Everything! And no, we are not using Bowser's battle theme from Partners in Time because of how pointless the music was as a final boss after we already fought Elder Princess Rube with our awesome orchestrated final boss theme! So, we are using this boss theme instead! Although Bowser's battle theme from Partners in Time is still very good and Bowser related regardless. But we are only using this song for final boss material! We are using this just because of how epic this song sounds! But fucking hell! Why is Schwauser the actual final boss? Bowser was the most repetitive final boss in every Mario game, and I'm sick and tired of Bowser being the finale of the end of the game! It's
disgraceful, said Gordon.
Disgusting,
Put in James.
despicable,
Finished Henry.
Oh, the indignity.
My god! They should have just leave off Elder Princess Rube as the final boss of the game. But nope, they had to screw up that ending with an extra boss fight that has Bowser resemblance to the final boss in the way. I mean, really, nobody asked for this. Nobody! And yet you had to put him in? What were you thinking?
I need to put my foot down to say this. But whose idea was to eat that shroom mushroom anyway? That mushroom tasted like the back of the cheap fish market. All that discussing this just to become this? What does that have to do with anything with my colors? I mean, yeah, I do need to have something stronger up my sleeve for your Mario Princess. But I'm letting this shoot curse off of a fight!
Wow. Fucking wow. I still can't wrap my head around how one boss went such lengths to do everything wrong. Stage, design, battle, build-up, and even music. 𝔬𝔢𝔬𝔫 fails in every single category.
I haven't even started talking about this disgrace of a final boss. Design, absolutely putrid and lazy. They take Bowser, paint it in purple, and put the older Princess Shroom's ghost on it. Stage? What stage? Bowser just shows up out of nowhere in Peach's castle and turns into this. And the backdrop doesn't even change. The setting is extremely unfitting for an epilogue boss. It's just Peach's castle, but with no change. Not even a hint of purple. The fight with him is a total joke, and absolutely effortless. I don't know what pisses me off more. This President Koopa, at least President Koopa's relatively terrible, I'll give them that. Or bullshit.
Who in the whole motherfucking galaxy has ever thought that counterattacking is acceptable? And Lord Bowser never stops attacking you, which means you cannot attack back. It's just dodging and countering fireballs, which are easy to avoid. There's no fun in that. But what about the music? Unfitting for a final boss. He doesn't get a unique song. He is so pathetic. Nothing more, nothing less. To add insult to injury, they made this concept work in the Superstar Saga remake. My fight basically did the exact same thing, but it actually worked. This doesn't. The worst part of all is that it is so unneeded, as this comes after a good Bowser fight earlier, which is even worse. And an incredible fight against Elder Princess Shroom, who was the actual final boss. But this is shoehorned in to the game to continue the trend of Bowser being the final boss in a Mario and Luigi game, either possessed, copied, enhanced, or fused.
Bowser is Bowser possessed. By what's left of Elder Princess Shroom, turning him into a Shroom hybrid. This could have gotten so much potential for an epic and exciting battle. I need to find my skills permanent. Oh, there's something I never noticed until now. They seriously left in a health bar on the top of the screen. This is a Mario Luigi game. 𝕮𝔬𝔫-𝔠𝔠𝔫. Do you wanna know what's even more infuriating? This is required to beat the game! There are no inequalities that can salvage this fight. Working a closest concept. Seriously, a dismal backdrop for an awful final battle. You really have the details. Listen up. They're saying this atrocity will live on. Not today. Victory will be mine. So you vanish. They sleep eternally in the top pollution place.
And that's the perfect summary of how god-awful 𝔬𝔢𝔬𝔫 is. Let's recap. The design, Bowser flashing purple with Elder Princess Shroom's ghost above his head, is hardly an intimidating design for a final boss now, is it? The choice of attacks, really lame, and each one can be a program to attack himself. And who programmed a boss battle that revolves around counterattacking? Who does that? Yeah, it really is no wonder that Bowser is thrown into the ending for no reason, but assume that he fell into a time hole that took him back to the present and arrived back at his castle scratching his head in confusion. So yeah, this battle is bad, and you losers should feel bad.
So overall, 𝔬𝔢𝔬𝔬 and the fight itself is completely unacceptable and very unnecessary! And you cannot attack! Why the hell do we get a fight where we are not supposed to attack?
Oh, and the fight itself is
Absolute abysmal!
Bowser, read your full battle monologue for me, will you?
With pleasure. Hey, listen here. From now on, you guys get no chance to attack. I'm gonna find you with an attack barrage, baby. Enjoy. Sorry, no attacking. You can't dodge them all.
Who the fuck are you to be in charge? Telling us what we cannot do? You're this pointless orangutan shit!
And why are we even gonna listen to your commands, even though this fight
is completely easy to deal off with? I mean, you're only shooting fire on us while we are dodging them and hitting them back, while the fire is aiming at Elder Princess Shroop's ghost, dealing off damage while there's a health bar on the top of the screen showing us how pathetic and weak you are gonna be, even though we are not allowed to attack at all!
Also, what is with 𝔬𝔬𝔬's design?
It's just Bowser that needs a superstar item, just like Mario does! The design could have been better, accurate, and official!
Like this, for example. This was made by 𝔬𝔫-𝔭𝔶. To make an accurate 𝔬𝔬, he changes the colors to the colors of Shroops to make Bowser look like a Shroop hybrid! This could have worked!
I have fixed solutions. Either you don't use 𝔬𝔬 at all, or if you are going to use 𝔬𝔬, I have more fixed solutions. If you're going to have 𝔬𝔬 as the final boss of the game, use 𝔬𝔫-𝔭𝔗's design of 𝔬𝔬 and have a better battle background, other than just using Princess Peach's castle as a battle background. And oh, I even have a better fixed solution. If you're going to use 𝔬𝔬, put 𝔬𝔬 as either a secret boss, a boss before you fight the Shroop sisters, or have him during the Elder Princess Shroop fight. It really was not that hard. Oh, get ready, because I'm about to mock the developers for what they were thinking when they were deciding to add this piece of garbage shit. This is so amazing. Elder Princess Shroop makes up for a good fight and an awesome final boss. Now it's time to work on the ending. No more fights. Actually, we're gonna add one more boss in the game. This fight is technically gonna be 𝔬𝔬, so Bowser will technically eat the Shroop mushroom and then change his body as his colors swirl around as 𝔬𝔬. And he will be the only one to attack, and the players cannot attack at all. You know what? This is perfect. Let's ruin the epic Elder Princess Shroop fight, which can be the end of the world if you lose by putting 𝔬𝔬. Everyone loves 𝔬𝔬. Let's make 𝔬𝔬 the true final boss instead of Elder Princess Shroop. Everyone will thank us for that this time. Let's do this.
What is wrong with you?
That's bad. That's bad. That's bad.
Well, no the fuck we don't! I cannot believe you added this existing boss just to ruin the ending! Elder Princess Shroop was a good enough boss to end the game!
Also, during the ending of the Elder Princess Shroop V2 mashup premiere, there's this one person who keeps yelling out that we need 𝔬𝔬, we need 𝔬𝔬. You can't see them now for some reason, but it did happen.
If you think what I'm about to say to that commenter was actually harsh, then I apologize. But what I need to say needs to be pointed out.
Wake the hell up and realize that 𝔬𝔬 is filler and it should never exist!
Look, we respect opinions on people liking 𝔬𝔬, even some people with opinions on 𝔬𝔬 being better than Elder Princess Shroop. That's fine, all power to you. But because 𝔬𝔬 got me, Mario, and Bowser mad here, don't say that we need 𝔬𝔬 in this channel, because we hate, no, despise 𝔬𝔬, and putting 𝔬𝔬 in our version of the lore isn't happening. So stop asking us to put 𝔬𝔬. We are putting 𝔬𝔬 in this episode to rant on how bad he is. Oh, and because of the stupidity this boss fight was, we worked on the extended version of the We Don't Talk About Bruno parody, We Don't Talk About 𝔬𝔬.
Because really, we always say Elder Princess Shroob is the final boss of Partisan Time, not Shrouza! Shrouza is non-existent! Ahem! We don't talk about Shrouza, no, no, no.
We don't talk about Shrouza, but this is poorly designed, only ultimate mind, and you call this the true final boss.
This made all of us very cross.
This boss is pointless, as it does nothing but disappoint us. Terrible from a story point of view, this is not for you.
Sadly, you cannot attack back.
Relies on counterattacking.
This fight just received a lot of flack.
A challenge lacking.
This should not be in the game. What we get is really, really lame. We don't talk about Shrouza, no, no, no. We don't talk about Shrouza.
Only seeking as a Shrouza on and on attacking. I can always see him sort of causing much havoc. I associate smashing rabbit fight falling sand. Shh, shh, shh. It's a giant pain in the arse or fighting. Such disgrace to an epic ending. Adding in a boss fight nobody understands. No one understands.
Easy design, color swirling on this uncultured swine. This boss needs to be gone. Yes, we'll hunt it down. Remove this fucking clown.
We don't talk about Shrouza, no, no, no. We don't talk about Shrouza.
We heard rumors that Shrouza will kill it all and dead.
No, no.
Ruining a great epic ending, just like Ludwig said.
No, no.
The fact that we cannot attack makes me want to lose my mind.
No, no.
Your fate is sealed when you are
damn blind.
God told me that I'd beg to gain strength to deal off with this waste of a boss. God told me that my power would grow with anger since I am very cross.
God help us not think of this crap.
We've been told that the pathetic ways will have just gone extinct. But at what cost?
I wanna suck Shrouza right now. I wanna fucking suck Shrouza right now. Let me at him now.
But Shrouza, yeah, about that Shrouza. I really need to tell you about that Shrouza. Get it out of my existence, Shrouza.
We all know it's pointless here.
No purpose here.
This is
Bullet design, only ultimate might, and you call this the true final boss. This boss is pointless, as it does nothing but disappoint us. Terrible from a story point of view, this is not for you.
Sadly, you cannot attack back.
Relies on counterattacking.
This fight just received a lot of flack.
A challenge lacking.
They should not be in the game.
Oh
Get
yes,
this
really, really lame. Don't talk about Shrouza, no, not a word about Shrouza.
No. Mamma mia, we sure did go all out during our parody song. That suits Shrouza's right for appearing out of nowhere in the last minute.
Exactly. I felt insulted I want to look like that. I could have looked better in canon, but nope, my form is recycled. This is my response to that shithole of a boss fight from listening to our song. You get what you fucking deserve! I don't care if we have been using this clip previous times already. Get over it!
So there you have it! A fireback song about almost hated Mario boss fight of all time! Further note, if this boss theme sounds familiar and you are guessing this is from My Little Pony, no! We are not bronies! Because My Little Pony is mostly for girls!
And before we get to the final verdict of this section, allow me to explain why we will not use Bowser's theme from Partisan Time and instead use these face songs.
In my perspective, the giant Bowser theme from New Super Mario Bros. Wii sounds absolutely nostalgic and dramatic. It brings up a sense of orchestrated vibe like Pirates of the Caribbean as you are in a world's end. As you hear that song for the first time when you fight Giant Bowser, you feel like you are fighting a realistic Mario game, fighting Bowser in a realistic style. TamatoaGaming had a dream one night, fighting Giant Bowser in a realistic nightmare style. The Bowser almost looked like Giga Bowser! Now, a true fan Final Boss remix, on the other hand, which other people think sounds way more epic for Final Boss material, and the song that's playing now was also a Final Boss masterpiece. It feels like you are fighting an ultimate form of Bowser, but in a rainbow space abyss, while having some Rainbow Spirit Fairy guides singing for courage while fighting along with the Mario Brothers as they are going all out, as this is going to be the fight to the death to finish all in rage! It sounds potential! This sounds colourful, magical, and heartwarming that you would never stop listening to this every day! Anyways, I'm done wasting time talking about something pointless around here. Let's just go straight to the final verdict. The ending was already good after we've beaten the true Shroom ruler herself until this piece of shit shows up out of nowhere. Even though I disqualified him in episode 2 because it's only counterattacking, this fight still shouldn't exist. God! 𝔢𝔬𝔢 is so pretentious! When I fought him, and during the fight, he deluded himself to think he is the true final boss, to make a final battle more deja vu, which clearly he didn't! For fuck's sake, 𝔢𝔬𝔢! Just look at yourself! Your true final boss idea is unlikable! You are nothing but a shithole that should have stayed on the drawing board! You've become a show-off, taking the role as a shitty final boss of a game, but have absolutely nothing to show for it! Oh, and what pisses me and the others off even more is that this is an insult to an awesome lore and the game itself! Yes, I said that before in episode 2 while ranting on 𝕮𝔬𝔫 Jr., even though 𝔢𝔬𝔢 is my secondary most hated final boss ever! But the reason why I said that here is because at least 𝔢𝔬𝔢 didn't have a pathetic and frustrating fight unlike 𝕮𝔬𝔫 Jr. Still, this fight is very unnecessary! The law of partners in time is an army of shrooms invading the Mushroom Kingdom and time after time, and time before time across, turning everyone into shroom mushrooms! Those are dark and creepy moments, and that is the true meaning of the law of this game, because people in this game are getting infected by shrooms, and in the ending, the infection has worn off from everybody, turning them back to normal. But 𝔢𝔬𝔢 insulted the law and the perfect ending just to piss everybody off with Bowser always being the final part to end the game! To sum up, even if we have already dealt with this fight easily and never get to witness that same concept again, throw 𝔢𝔬𝔢 into the fiery pit of the volcano! Yes, I said it! Rocks and minerals are junk to the volcano! So, throw 𝔢𝔬𝔢 into the volcano as this waste dies in the fire! I clearly want to kill off this worthless piece of shit of a final boss right about now! Oh, this gets me so angry! I think I want to just... Shroom was already a good enough final boss to end this invasion with! Although telling us we can't attack, nor can we dodge, fuck your commanding! And fuck your fight! We have had it, and we are done with this! Do you hear me? His fight is too easy to deal off with! There is a health bar on the top, even though most Mario and Luigi games don't show health bars at boss fights! The boss design looks lazy, does not look scary, and looks nothing like final boss material! And the background is even abysmal because you're fighting 𝔢𝔬𝔢 at Peach's castle! What does Peach's castle have to do with a final battle? I mean, of course they did that concept in New Super Mario Bros. U, but for fuck's sake! Not even Peach's castle was color changed a bit! And all 𝔢𝔬𝔢 is doing is just shooting fire at us and nothing else! Not even new attacks or techniques he can't even think of! Well,
you can just go back to the drawing board! And the music is very unsettling! That fight music for 𝔬𝔢𝔠 was already used in the battle against the two Bowsers, both past and present! So why use it again, even though that song was not final boss material? So now I'm pissed off! Mario is pissed off! Bowser is pissed off! The Legion of Stationery is pissed off! Even my sister Olivia is pissed off at this fight! I am already pissed off! I hate 𝔬𝔢𝔠! I hate him! I hate him! To the developers on whoever had an idea for putting 𝔬𝔢𝔠 for no reason! I will never forgive you fuckers for ruining a perfect ending to an awesome ending of a masterpiece of a Mario game! So now I'm mad! I'm really, really mad! And now it's time for you to experience my new form! Hybrid Warlock Olly!
What's happening? What's going on?
We need to back away, Mario. I think Olly's getting ready to do something.
It's time to finish this once and for all. 𝔬𝔬𝔬𝔬𝔬𝔬𝔬𝔬𝔬𝔬𝔬𝔬𝔬𝔬𝔬𝔬𝔬𝔬𝔬𝔬𝔬𝔬𝔬𝔬𝔬𝔬𝔬𝔬𝔬𝔬𝔬𝔬𝔬𝔬𝔬𝔬𝔬𝔬𝔬𝔬𝔬𝔬𝔬𝔬𝔬𝔬𝔬𝔬𝔬𝔬𝔬𝔬𝔬𝔬𝔬𝔬𝔬𝔬𝔬𝔬𝔬𝔬𝔬𝔬𝔬𝔬𝔬𝔬𝔬𝔬𝔬𝔬𝔬𝔬𝔬𝔬𝔬𝔬𝔬𝔬𝔬𝔬𝔬𝔬𝔬𝔬𝔬𝔬𝔬𝔬𝔬𝔬𝔬𝔬𝔬
Boss Battle developers, once again we've done it! 𝔱𝔢𝔠𝔱 is so far the best final boss in the Mario RPG game lineup! What with our wonderful editing work, instead of using other characters for final bosses other than Bowser. And the next game Alpha Dream is making is Bowser's inside story, and there's only one way to make the Mario and Luigi games the best out of them all. What we need is a spin-off!
Ah, yes. But what character should we use? Peach? Bowser? Kamek?
Oh, no, none of those boring characters. What we need is a crossover spin-off of the best Mario character of the Mario 1993 movie of all, President Koopa.
Ready for a moment, Mario?
You bet I am. I'm ready to take down this pathetic waste of a final boss. Let's go.
Hell yeah! Huh?
Okay, that's as far as I can stand. That is, without a doubt, one of the worst and stupidest ideas I have ever heard of in my entire life. Even if that Mario 1993 movie was a guilty pleasure, nobody likes your ideas. Nobody! Also, whose idea was to add in 𝔱𝔢𝔠𝔱 anyway? We should have left the final boss as Elder Princess 𝔱 instead of always using Bowser as a final battle equivalent! Are you purposely just trying to piss people off even more?
Yeah, what are those so-called Nintendo fans gonna do about it, huh? Nah. Oh, crud.
Before we move even further, no, we didn't actually kill off the developers. After we blew their place up and taught them a lesson, we gave them healing mushrooms and told them to never make such a useless, unneeded final boss like 𝔬𝔢 ever again. And of course, Mario rebuilt their place by using his maker outfit. So let this be a lesson to not add in 𝔬𝔢. Now, back to my show. I highly apologize you had to see all of that, audience. This literally happens in every episode of mine. I let my anger go straight through my head as I completely lose it over seeing my hated media. 𝔬𝔢 literally triggered me, and I took my anger way too seriously. But not as much as 𝕮𝔬𝔫 Jr. and Mr. Freeze.
Which makes me more angry with his hot, cheesy ice puns.
And including my new most hated villain of all time,
Malekith from For the Dark World.
But on the bright side, at least 𝔬𝔫𝔭𝔶, Naayle, me, and my 4 villainous colleagues ranted on him during the 4K sub special. But right now, I must calm down now. I need a break from all of that yelling.
Hey, you're not the only one, Olly. That's what it takes to have a Koopa King's emotion. You get angry, then you have to look angry in a transformation, just like I do. I took out all my anger on Sausage Party, and good thing I won't have to see or think about that hot mess of an animated movie. When I first saw the trailer, I thought it was gonna be a kids movie, but when I saw the movie, I was wrong. And so I used up everything I took to get rid of it by incinerating that movie with my lethal fire breath. Not bad out there, pal.
Yeah, 𝔬𝔢 got what he deserved for ruining a perfect ending of Partners in Time. We will always say Elder Princess 𝔬𝔬 is the final boss of the game, but seriously, I can't believe 𝔬𝔢 even existed.
Yeah, I mean, is there some purpose or other reason they wanted to add 𝔬𝔢 in the ending? Well, as I see it, I think the reason why they added in 𝔬𝔢 was for Bowser to get involved in the final battle. Like I said, Elder Princess 𝔬𝔬 was already perfect enough, and if someday they make a Partners in Time remake, please make the ending better than last time. Maybe don't have him at all. Change his design and have a better background with different music. Or just use him as a secret boss or a boss before or during the final boss against the 𝔬𝔬 sisters. We will prefer 𝕮𝔬𝔭𝔬𝔐's mashup over the original game because we don't get to see 𝔬𝔢. Good.
If I were you guys, after you beat Elder Princess 𝔬𝔬, aka the real final boss of the game, I would just end the game there. Or, if you want the actual ending, just fight 𝔬𝔢. It's your choice. End it already or continue to get the true ending.
And never again will I eat the disgusting mushroom. That tasted nasty like fuck.
Oh, and don't forget Surf's Up too. Since you guys were talking about your hated movies, even though this episode has to do with Mario bosses.
Yeah, and Surf's Up 2 as well.
Also, Velma's worse than Surf's Up 2 now.
Anyways, that's enough talking about our hated movies as I feel much better now. All my anger has worn off and I'm ready to continue. But before we review the best boss battle in Mario history, it's time for some honorable mentions!
My giant battle for Mario and Luigi Dream Team. Honestly, this is my all-time favorite out of all my giant battles with Mario.
Count Bleck from Super Paper Mario. He should have been the final boss of the game because of how challenging his attacks can get.
Brobot from Super Paper Mario. I find him the most challenging fight in my opinion on that adventure.
King Olly from Paper Mario, the Origami King. I have to tell you, bud, you did put up quite a challenge against me and Mario.
Thanks! Anyways, Meowser from Super Mario 3D World, to the top of the tower in a giant rainstorm while fighting a badass feline beast form of Bowser.
Fury Bowser from Bowser's Fury. Holy shit, Bowser has turned into Godzilla.
My fight in New Super Mario Bros. Wii. At least this is more challenging than my fight from the original DS version.
The 𝔬𝔬 sisters from Mario and Luigi Partners in Time, both being Princess 𝔬𝔬 and her older sister. The invasion must end. We must kill the culprits who are responsible for 𝔬𝔬 infections.
Shiny Robo Bowser from Mario and Luigi Paper Jam. Even though Bowser was the final boss here, which is getting tiresome, this was enjoyable, and especially the awesome final boss theme.
Dark Bowser and a Dark Star Core from Mario and Luigi and Bowser's Inside Story. Don't look at me! We would have put him in number 1, but the reason why I had to put him here is because of 2 reasons. 1, this 3DS remake was such a downgrade, and 2, King Olly and Olivia praised him in episode 2. If you want a full explanation of this boss, then watch episode 2, will you?
Cursor for Mario and Rabbids Sparks of Hope. I'm not explaining this one to those of you who haven't played Sparks of Hope yet, but all I can tell you is that Cursor is a well-written demon villain.
Black Bowser from Paper Mario Color Splash, an amazing inspiration to Venom from the Spider-Man series. Well, not really an inspiration, but reminds me of Venom.
And now, time for recap.
Wario from Super Mario Land 2 6 Golden Coins, a fight against Mario's rival for the first time.
Donkey Kong from the Mario vs. Donkey Kong series, just like the good old days ever since my first debut.
My ultimate fight in Super Mario 64. Fighting this guy in a battlefield up high. Wait, was that a wrong moment?
Bowser from Super Mario Galaxy, an awesome final battle, but in space.
Calculated Soul from Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga. We almost died before we fought her, but at least we got through this.
Shadow Queen from Paper Mario The 1000-Year Door. I wasn't there, but I heard that this is much better than Super Dimentio.
Scissors from Paper Mario The Origami King. Beware, because scissors will slit your neck. Well, this is it. We have finally reached the end of the list with the last boss from the best list we will be talking about. Wait! What was that? Oh! Actually, we were talking about 2 bosses at once! And yes, it's from a Mario and Luigi game. And no, it's not Dark Bowser and the Dark Star Core because he is already in the honorable mentions section. But these 2 bosses are from Mario and Luigi Dream Team. Are you ready to hear what the best 2 bosses from the Mario franchise of all time are? Okay then. The 2 best bosses of the Mario franchise are the Dream World duo themselves, Dreamy Bowser and Phantasma! We are starting off with Dreamy Bowser as we want to save the best for last later. I will ask why later, but right now let's get to the fun stuff with this epic fight against the Dream God. Bowser really knows what he's doing now here in this fight.
Yeah, Olly, you tell him.
After Bowser betrays Phantasma, claiming that he himself is the only one to gain the true power of the Dreamstone and the Neo Castle, he was about to consume himself to the Dreamstone to become the most powerful being in the universe by granting a wish on the Dreamstone to make the Mario Brothers disappear! But then he failed to do so because Starlo and Princess Peach are using their powers against Bowser, not letting him go any further, but was also told to destroy the Dreamstone to foil Bowser's plan once more. And so they listened to Dreamber and finally destroyed the Dreamstone at all costs. But wait! Bowser isn't done yet! He inhaled the fragment and holy fucking shit! Look at his changes!
I should use that form much often. Look how sick I look. No, that's my true color swirl on my body unlike Strowser. I, as a dream god, am a real necessary enemy to fit for a final boss unlike Strowser which came out of nowhere.
Yeah, I 100% agree with you, Bowser. Your dream form is much better and more necessary for a final boss.
The fight! I need to point this out here. For a best final boss, this goes to the same ranking experience level along with Dark Bowser and the Dark Star Core, even though the 3DS remake was a downgrade. Because they are both final bosses, and they have epic music for a final boss, and they even have badass attacks as if you are in Endgame! But Dark Bowser and the Dark Star Core will still remain as an honorable mention because I already praised them in episode 2. But here with Dreamy Bowser, he had no issues and therefore a perfect way to leave it off there. Although his attacks can be repetitive, mostly his airship attack, but it's still phenomenal regardless!
This is where it's at! This has to be the strongest form of Bowser I have ever seen! Because he's able to wish stronger, have better defense, better offense, more armies, more items, more powers, more everything. Boy, this makes me jealous.
Anyways, about the fight and the mindset. During the final battle with Dreamy Bowser, the Neo Castle's colors are swirling into rainbow colors, which is absolutely beautiful to experience. Even Dreamy Bowser's pretty looks. I just want to stare at his rainbow colors and the castle's rainbow colors for hours. Oh, and even his attacks can change color to rainbows as well. It's a rainbow miracle, my main dudes and dudettes. A rainbow miracle! Oh my! Now I sound like my sister Olivia because of my over-enjoyment with this fight! But anyways, back to the main program. Just like the rest of the Mario and Luigi final bosses, you have to take down several parts of the final boss until you get to their final weak point. This fight is so inspiring because you are saving all hopes and dreams just like Azrael Dreamer's fight. Well, not exactly the same fight as Azrael's, but I want to say the Super Mario equivalent to Azrael Dreamer.
Dreamy Bowser is yet another case where Lord Bowser is just twisted to be unique. Not only does Dreamy Bowser have multiple paths that hinder your progress, but he really doesn't have any inherently unique attacks. Fire, punches, minions, it's all there, but it's twisted in such a unique way that it makes the fight all the more fantastic.
Even his arms can do tricks to the Mario brothers, like his left arm grabbing Mario as Luigi has to save him, or vice versa. With the power of the Dreamstone on his forehead, he brings out a multicolored airship along with his rainbow minions and everything else. But the airship attack does look and take a lot of perfect teamwork. By the way, this airship attack is called the Shy Guy Air Tub DX, or Deluxe. While Mario is on the airship beating down the minions and the airship, the Bowser head on the airship tries to shoot fire flames at Luigi as he has to dodge while getting chased. Oh, and after the airship was destroyed, Mario is in a bubble as Luigi has to catch up with the bouncing bubble with Mario inside it. And that is where Bowser epically grabs Mario, not letting him go. Luigi has to save his brother. To do that, he has to attack Bowser's left arm so that he can let go of Mario.
Don't even think about defeating Dreamy Bowser immediately, because if you do, he will cover his head as a sign of defending himself. So, just take out the arms and then go all out with your bro's attacks. Also, the way Dreamy Bowser's arms are destroyed is similar to the battle with Queen Bean and my soul. 3 games ago.
One of Dreamy Bowser's more common attacks involves shooting giant rainbow-colored fireballs which the Mario Bros need to jump at the same time to avoid. Dreamy Bowser clones himself partway during this attack to double the fireball, where the fireballs alternate between each of the two. And just like Dark Bowser's fight when he brought out the Dark Minions, Dreamy Bowser summons his Dreamy Minions by creating a portal for each minion! These include Dreamy Goombas that can jump over or on, Dreamy Paratroopers that can be sent back at minions behind them, Dreamy Shy Guys that will jump over the brothers, and Dreamy Bob-Ombs that will explode on contact. While the minions are attacking, Bowser goes to the back spot, opening up extra portals by opening up endless piles of meat to heal himself in battle, and remains there on the back spot until the minions are destroyed. If they manage to take down as many amounts of Dreamy Minions they can get during an attack, then Bowser would slam his fists into the ground to create a shockwave that must be jumped over.
As me, Luigi, and Naayle saw the shockwave, we were so shocked and amazed by its looks. Wow!
Another attack Dreamy Bowser can do is summoning a giant hammer, which he tries to hit the brothers with and flip a coin. Heads, Mario. Tails, Luigi. You have to successfully defend the initial strike. Then Dreamy Bowser would go for the other brother, which they must also hammer to defend themselves. Although this attack can be tricky to accomplish.
Oh, and here's another epic attack he can do. Become giant! Just like his previous giant moments in Dream Team and Bowser's Inside Story. While Dreamy Bowser is giant, Mario and Luigi have to run as Bowser starts chasing them while spewing 3 massive streams of moving fire that must be jumped over, or the Mario Brothers will take massive damage. If they manage to jump over the fire, Dreamy Bowser then jumps and creates a shockwave that also must be jumped over. Dreamy Bowser will then repeat the fire stream attack, but his second jump will end in his landing on a sharp spire, deflating him back to normal size.
Just like the good old days. And I still turn giant during the modern times, even though it gets over it at times. But just to bring back nostalgia, and of course spit it down Mario and Green Stash.
It is so satisfying. As for the part where Dreamy Bowser spawns his minions, it can be a little annoying and repetitive, especially when you get to him to low health, but still, everything aside from that more than makes up for it. It is excellent!
After you defeat Dreamy Bowser, he turns back to normal, and now is your chance to finish him off by hitting him with the hammer twice. First hit into the cage to free the princess, and the second and final hit putting him down in business, hitting him to the air. Also, the music, Adventure's End. It is perfect! Well, not as perfect as Hopes and Dreams Save the World, but that's beside the point. An absolute majestic masterpiece of a song! The instruments were done magnificently, like the organs and the guitar solos. And as I see on YouTube, there are 4 covers of this song, which is less than the in the final covers there is. Actually, 5, if you count Man on the Internet's cover. And there's even a second version of the Avengers End mashup in 𝔬𝔫-𝔭𝔫𝔫 channel. I recommend you all to see it.
Now we have been saving the best for last of the 2 bosses in the #1 best section. And this boss is by far the better boss than Dreamy Bowser and the Dark Star Core.
Get ready for the King of Bats himself, 𝕮𝔬𝔫! This is it! The best to last is the main antagonist or central antagonist of Dream Team himself, 𝕮𝔬𝔫! The best final boss that tops over Dreamy Bowser and Dark Bowser and the Dark Star Core. He's not actually the final boss, but he is the final boss of the Dream World, but not the final boss of the game. Anyways, this fight is absolutely well developed, and the reason why 𝕮𝔬𝔫 takes himself as the best villain of the Mario franchise, perhaps even better than Scissors! We did put Scissors for #2 because Scissors' design is just a pair of scissors from reality. Scissors is still an awesome villain though. But when it comes to 𝕮𝔬𝔫's design, it's villainous and badass! Look at him! His design looks like a fusion of Black Hat from Villainous and Margis from Chrono Trigger! I love it!
Wow, this guy is threatening. Sure, a purple bat isn't threatening, but this? Well, if you played the game, then you know what we're talking about. And he's back again by teaming up with Lord Bowser, powering him up, and later on near the end, he gets betrayed because Bowser has had enough of being used time and time again. So he abandons him and steals the Dreamstone for himself. So that means 𝕮𝔬𝔫 will kill Mario and Luigi, and then eventually kill Bowser as an act of revenge. And he would have conquered the world after that. So when 𝕮𝔬𝔫 attempts to finish the job, it is perfect.
Let's get ready to rumble!
So you go into the Dream World, and this is where the fight begins. The final fight against 𝕮𝔬𝔫 and his battle formers Dreambert and Dreamy Luigi come for your assistance. Also, about the background, this is very artistic because when you are fighting a Dark Lord, you fight him in a very dark and evil area. And this is exactly what it looks like. Before 𝕮𝔬𝔫 unleashes his first attack, he eats 2 𝕮𝔬𝔫 munchies to power up.
Before we talk about 𝕮𝔬𝔫's moveset, let's talk about the music. This is no question one of the best video game tunes ever made. It is evil, it is sinister, and it is catchy as hell. And the fight itself is spectacular. Alright, let's talk about his attacks.
I agree with Chief Chili and the others, and Tasma's battle theme is one of the greatest songs to ever exist! Anyways, now his attacks. His first attack, he duplicates himself into bats flying after you. Yeah, like 𝔮𝔬𝔦 from Superstar Saga. And like that battle from 3 games ago, you have to jump over them to not take any damage. Also, Antasma traps Dreamy Luigi in one of his Antasmunchies. You cannot defeat him without Dreamy Luigi, so you need to save him by destroying one of those Antasmunchies Dreamy Luigi is trapped in. And you also need to destroy all the other Antasmunchies as well, so that Antasma won't heal himself over and over again, or become stronger, but becoming stronger and healing himself in this fight fills you with determination! The Antasmunchies also assist Antasma in 2 of his other attacks. If Antasma takes quite enough damage, he may hang off the top of the screen, raising a shield around him and hibernating to recover health. While Antasma is hibernating, his Antasmunchies will transform into insect-like monsters and will try to ram Mario each turn, lowering his power if they succeed. This attack must be countered with the hammer. After all the Antasmunchies are defeated, Antasma wakes up and resumes the battle. Jumps are not useful for them due to the spikes on the top, so Mario will take damage if he does jump on them when they are in this form. If Dreamy Luigi is freed, when Antasma uses this attack, he will flip the screen upside down and makes it harder to counter with the hammer. And here is his last Antasmunchie related attack he can also do. Antasma turns them into spiky orbs as he chases you on the front of the screen. Just like any other boss when you are running, you have to look at where Antasma is going to throw an attack at you, and when to do it at the right moment with the right timing to avoid getting hit. Here, while the Antasmunchies are surrounding you as you run from Antasma, they will eventually merge together and explode, so try not to get hit by that. Also, not only do you have to dodge that attack, but that explosion can also take damage on Antasma as well. He can also trick your mind as well as by cloning himself. With the real Antasma displaying a large electrical orb in his hand, the Antasma clones line up and pull out their hands. This tricks you because, just like 𝔮𝔬𝔦 cloning herself and tricking you which one's fake and which one's real, you are trying to figure out which is the real Antasma. If you see one of the Antasmas throwing the orb at you in the lineup, then that's the real Antasma. You have to deflect the orb back at Antasma to avoid getting damaged critically.
That's not the best part. Oh no. In fact, the best part of the whole fight is coming up just about now.
Doesn't sound nightmarish to me. I mean, duplicating himself, using orbs, turning into bats. Isn't there anything scarier than that?
Oh, there is. And that attack is the best attack Antasma can do, which is the Nightmare Realm. If you take damage from any of Antasma's attacks, Mario has low defense and falls asleep, waking up inside Antasma's nightmare, which our despised media belongs to. While inside Antasma's nightmare, Antasma himself grows into size and starts chasing you down endlessly like any other boss does, as he shoots massive purple fireballs at you. While you're running, there are red portals on the ground which you need to watch out for. If you fall into a red portal, then you would stumble into an abyss full of saw blades! This is something Mario really needs to watch out for because those take real damage for sure. So you better avoid those attacks by tilting your 3DS because saw blades are dangerous because they can slaughter you in half. Also, when you escape the hole will be covered with a web, meaning that the portal was already fallen by Mario. And if you see a rainbow portal hole, which is the portal you need to go in to escape Antasma's nightmare, you go in there, and as you're escaping, there are falling coins to collect to gain strength and heroicness.
If you die in Antasma's nightmare, game over. What a very epic fight.
After you finally defeat him, you escape the dream world as Antasma inflates until he blows up to smithereens. I don't know which Antasma fight is better, this fight or Antasma X's fight. Antasma X's fight was a lot harder than the other Antasma fights in the story game. Antasma X did have the same attacks, but those are more harder than normal Antasmas. Here's a fun fact for ya.
in top 15 greatest boss battles in video games by none other than Fawful's minion, and Tasma made it on the list, and you know what's even better? He put him at number 1, and I applaud him for that.
To any of you guys who want to experience both the fights against Dreamy Bowser and Tasma, I highly recommend you guys play Mario and Luigi Dream Team. It is such an awesome game that you will love it as much as I do. Nighty-night!
Well, that was one hell of a roller coaster! So, audience, did you enjoy our list of our best and worst Mario bosses? If so, then feel free to share your opinions on your list of the best and worst Mario bosses there is in the comments section. So, Mario and Bowser, how did you like this episode?
That was very good. I had so much fun being featured for the first time.
Yeah, we should do this more often. Give support to the Koopa King himself.
And would you guys like to see me and Bowser again in future episodes? If so, then please let us know in the comments section below.
Before this video comes to an end, this video is brought to you by Wario's Micro Game Emporium. I just want to say thank you for having me on today's episode, Origami Boy. Wario showed you fun in your show. Remember, catch up with the previous 3 episodes if you haven't, despite some rage-inducing parts. Yeah, it's gonna happen in nearly every episode of the show. Oh, but I don't fucking care, but come on down anyways! See you all next time, losers, and have a rotten day.
Also, stay tuned for my next episode of The King Ollie Show, because that episode is going to have Count Bleck in it, as we will be talking about the best and worst internet memes of all time. Also, I want to give shoutouts to TamatoaGaming, the voice of Bowser, and Naayle, the voice of Mario, for helping us with this episode. Subscribe to their channels and turn on notifications from their channels. They have appeared in videos of 𝔮𝔬𝔫-𝔭𝔂, especially Origami King the Musical. Even though Naayle doesn't make content, he still appears in most of our videos. And especially go subscribe to TamatoaGaming, aka Super MLG Bro. He has an upcoming YouTube cartoon show called Data Brawl Adventures. He's just waiting for everyone's voice lines to get done, and after all of that, he will start processing shortly. To make things more exciting, he is also making an upcoming musical called Mario and Luigi Bowser's Inside Story the Musical. He will make an announcement video later when he gets the chance, or when it is time for him to do so. And of course, follow them on Discord as well. And before we end the episode, there is only one more thing for us to do.
Oh, and what is that? Whatever's happening, I can't wait for the excitement.
Yeah, what is it? Spit it already!
A dance party!
Do the Mario, swing your arms from side to side. Come on, it's time to go. Do the Mario, take one step, and then again, let's do the Mario all together now. You got it! It's the Mario! Do the Mario, swing your arms from side to side. Come on, it's time to go. Do the Mario, take one step, and then again, let's do the Mario all together now. Come on now, just like that.
And on that bombshell, it's time to end it here. Thank you very much for watching. See you in the next episode. Good night!